Oh man. Hey.
Huh.
Hey, Hal.
Hey.
Hey, we're on. We're finally
we are on. That's the way I prefer it. What?
Wow. Hey everybody. This is Johnny Beane. And I think that's me. There we go.
Oh, it's
there we go.
Yeah.
5:16 p.m. out here in Santa Cruz, California, May 21st, 2019. Welcome everybody. We got David Nesdahl.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey man.
How's it going, Dave?
All good, all good.
Awesome. We got Jay Hannon.
We're skipping right over Bocephus Road and going straight to 5150.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. We got Caleb Rapoport.
Say hi, Caleb. Oh, that's how he says hi. Oh, he's the harpo of this entire endeavor.
Oh man. And Hal Sparks. Hey dude.
Hi.
Hey, welcome.
What's happening? Hi, people. How are you?
Welcome. Yes.
Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you. Thank you. I love the sound of tiny Shetland ponies in apparently a cardboard box welcoming me to the show. I think that was an attempted applause, but it sounded like midgets in tap shoes escaping death. What's happening, chat room, by the way? How you guys doing?
Oh my gosh.
All right, you guys are supposed to open with some crazy riff. Somebody like...
Dave's in standard.
That's better.
Yeah,
there
I
you
was
go.
gonna say that's a half step off, huh? Dave's in standard.
I'm always in standard. Sorry.
Wow. Is that a pickup?
I think
Yeah,
E flats for fags.
Wow.
Fags who can't sing.
Great word.
You mean the entire genre of rock singers?
Yeah,
Like all of them, essentially?
Yeah, that's right.
All right,
So
good to know.
Concert tuning. That's
Yeah. Yeah, because I always thought standard was kind of like for jazz band nerds. You know what I mean? Like,
Because I play jazz with this guitar.
right, yes. So, you know, there are those who do that. I've seen them. They usually end up as the sub guitarist, you know, touring around with like, you know, one of those Toluca Lake bands like, I can't even remember the names. I'm not even going to try.
I hate jazz.
Yeah, me too. It sounds like four guys, you know, practicing four different songs in one room. It's just rude. Get your act together, write some songs, and then get back on stage. And jazz singing and like torch style R&B, you know, which people call jazz from the jazz heyday, is not jazz. It might be jazzy, but this is a whole different conversation. We're going to get into the semantics of music eventually. But yeah, hate experimental jazz. And you know who loves it? Bill Cosby. And I think that shows you, that's an example of the kind of people who like jazz.
Is that what he plays when he is?
No, he can't play.
No, that's called jizz, not jazz.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I don't know. He fingers a few things, but the point is I once got invited to the Playboy Jazz Festival, which is the only way you could get me to go to a jazz festival is to attach the word Playboy to it. And he hosted it. And he sat on a chair the entire show on the left side of the stage. And then in between acts would just walk over to the mic. He was getting paid like $500,000. Walk over to the mic at a snail's pace. It took for fucking ever. And then he would go, Kenny G, and then walk all the way. That was it. There was no details. There was no, this next man you might know from the fact that I'm getting the $500,000 I used to buy lewds from a guy from Tijuana this afternoon. Yes. Jim Nichols likes in the chat says he loves Jello pudding pops, which is code. So I would block him immediately unless he starts super chatting us Nambla links.
Holy crap. John Mancuda, are you here?
Excuse me. I don't even know the gentleman, but that was a fairly articulate push.
By the way, in the chat, I saw our drummer, Jeff Page. Jeffrey Page.
who I just sang with. And he's got his 90s cover band. I hopped up and did Man in the Box and Wood with them.
Oh, wait, was that in E flat too?
I don't know. It's whatever the record is. Because you know what? I sing the song as it's supposed to be sung.
Okay, good.
Don't do me any favors. If somebody's like, oh, it's in standard and they down tune it half a step because it'll be easier for the singer, I'm like, no, what's the album? What's the album tuning? Stick to that because I'll forget it. First of all, I also think if an album's in, like half a step down, you should do the songs half a step down because that's what the friggin' record sounds like, right? But if it's in standard, don't down tune it half a step because it won't sound right to the audience, I don't think. You know what I mean?
I agree with you because Hagar now sings everything a whole step down. So you listen to Pound Cake and it's in D. It's like, what are you talking it?
Yeah,
You're not singing it anymore. You're talking it.
There's a huge difference between doing a song, in a couple of months in a studio and doing it every other night for 10 years, Yeah. And I think a lot of singers would do themselves a big favor to write accordingly. Yeah. To go, okay, what's the best sound we can get? What's the best tuning, anyways, for this song that I can do forever? That's what we were talking about. That's what Ann and Nancy Wilson did. Ann Wilson is one of the most incredible singers of all time, but she has ranges in her voice she doesn't like and sounds pinchy or whatever. So she and Nancy would write to a very narrow scale set. She would go, let's just keep it in these boundaries, and I will always be able to hit those notes without even trying. And that was the magic of it or whatever. It's the same thing with like Lane Staley, which is why we did the.
But to Sammy's defense, he is 71 years old or 72.
It sounds fantastic live anyways. Like his voice sounds spectacular. He can do it if he whips it out. I think that's the difference. What's your touring voice versus what you do on a television show for a one-off?
He's saving himself for sure.
Save it, yeah. Because look what happened to Paul Stanley. I think what happened to Paul Stanley's voice was going back and singing the old stuff because his voice wasn't as good. His voice is like 80s, 90s Paul Stanley. His voice is amazing. But if you go back to the 70s, his vocal cords are a whole half step down. See, I told you, like, I'm on the spectrum with Kiss. Like the minute anything can dovetail to a Kiss conversation. We were talking about this before the show. But like I think going back and doing the reunion tour and doing those tunings, pushed his vocals back down into that pocket, and then it gets hard to get back up there again. And that was what I discovered singing with Nerd Halen, because I'm a pro and I can bring it back to what we're talking about. We do Sammy and Dave songs, and what I recognize, like I'd never really put it together, but Dave sings from the bottom up when he's doing a song, like it's all chest and just pushing up as hard as he can, which is where his like all that shit where that came from is him just overshooting and just popping his vocal cords into another channel. But Sammy sings from the top down. He's doing this Sam Cooke stuff, whereas the note he's comfortable with is actually higher, and he loops down into the note vocally, so it's all head voice. It's really impressive. Like that guy is an artist. The fact that whether he's in drop G minor is kind of immaterial to the fact that he can he literally drops into high notes. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Sammy's
nailed right out of the box. I'm just saying.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how this happened.
Man, that was a good first 10 minutes. Holy crap.
Yeah. All right. Should we talk about how it happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it. No, tell the story. I love origin stories. That's why I'm a fan of the Spider-Man movies.
All right. Well, let's go back a couple years. I had a cover band with one of my best friends, a drummer, and it was called the Old Tools. And
not the new tools, but
and
someone else was called the new tools. So
no one else was called the old tools.
I had the idea longer, so we called ourselves the Old Tools.
Not the new zoo, but the old zoo.
Anyway, I basically started that thing just so I could play a bunch of 70s, 80s rock, but I somehow slipped like 5 or 6 of the 12 songs that we played were Van Halen songs. That was the only reason I did it. And it turned into a thing where I just wanted to do a Van Halen thing, and he wanted to do a Zeppelin thing. My friend who's the drummer. So we were thinking about doing a Van Zeppelin or Led Halen or something. And then we had an idea for a singer guy, and this guy that we knew all the way back to high school, and I got a hold of him because now you can get a hold of anybody through
social media.
Yeah,
and it's the other way around, unfortunately.
Yeah, he told me, you got to concentrate on one thing, and you got to either do a straight tribute, like to the bone, or do a gimmick. And I thought about it, and I was like, well, I'm not going to be jumping around in a wig doing that straight tribute thing. It's not me. And I'm 6'4". I'm not going to look like Eddie Van Halen. So
you have to get like 3 other pituitary cases to follow you around.
Exactly.
Make you look short by comparison.
Exactly. So
yeah, I'm like he's hanging around basketball courts going, anybody here sound like
David
I know you guys can all play bass like Michael, but anybody know here how to play drums?
Exactly. So I thought, okay, let me come up with a gimmick, and the gimmick became the nerd thing, and then the name came to me, and so and blah blah blah. And I remember getting back to that singer who's a really good guy, but I remember saying, hey, how about this? Nerd Halen.
Mm-hmm.
We dress up as nerds, and without hesitation, he goes, this is over the phone. He goes, I'm not dressing up like no nerd, dude. And I was like, oh man, okay. Well, I guess that's it then. And
goodbye.
So,
wait a minute. He's not dressing up like no nerd. That's a double negative. We'll deal with that later.
I was just gonna say
that. He dressed like a nerd at that exact moment.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
So yeah, he took off his glasses, when he said it. But that was that. And then I, started to search. But he did tell me
in the desert for 40 years.
He told me go to the jams, go to these Hollywood jams and try to meet some players. There's a bunch of people there. You'll be able to find, you'll be able to fill out your band with these guys. And I was like, okay. And I just started going down to the Whiskey, to the Ultimate Jam Night, and making friends. And
lurking, we like to call it. He lurked a lot. He was lurking.
Yep, I was lurking. And
all to lurk well, though. Just kind of
And I met Forrest McKinnon, who is the co-host of the Jam behind Pauly Z. And I looked at Forrest's Instagram one time, and he is the biggest Van Halen nut besides me, and he's a drummer. And I just said, dude, do you want to jam? And this was last summer, and we started playing, and it was moving along. And then he booked the Holiday on Ice show in Europe, and he's a skater and vanished. And he had to go for 7 months. He had to leave. So
wait, sidecar story.
Yeah.
So I know Forrest from the Jam, obviously, and he and I get along really well. We played on stage a couple of times doing variant, like crew, or I think we did, what was it? I think we did Twisted Sister once and that kind of stuff. Anyways, he, at one point, the kid who played my son on Lab Rats, William Brent, Billy Unger, he is an amazing guitar player, blues guitar player. And I gave him his first guitar when we started the show. Like within the first year, I gave him his first guitar because he'd always wanted to play. And he got at it, man. He started working really hard. And he wanted to put a little blues trio together and do some, Stevie Ray Vaughan songs and that kind of stuff. And he can nail them. So I gathered up Forrest, and we started doing these I was playing bass and singing for Billy. And I think it's the overlap rehearsing with Forrest and you hanging out with Forrest, Caleb, at the same time that kind of clinched this and, was the ionosphere that made the lightning strike, as it were.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is I played a benefit at the Whiskey nearly a year ago. It's called the Backpack, or Rock the Backpack.
Yeah. So and like backpacks full of school supplies.
Yes. Yeah. And I was brought out on that stage for the first time by my friend Andre Holmes, who was my original pick for bass player in the band, and he's a busy cat. He plays with Macy Gray and The Time, and
that's the problem with the Jam, though. All these dudes, they all have
all
5
working.
other gigs, right?
And so he got me to play on Panama. They were going to do Panama, and I actually did Eruption before Panama, and I came out as the nerd.
What you're going to do instead, like everybody starts Panama, and you're like, nah, meow. Fuck you guys.
But what happened was Hal was hosting that event, and he came up halfway through and sang half the song.
Yeah.
And
I got mad because I often don't get the songs I want at the Jam, so I will sometimes muscle my way on stage and sing the second half, especially if they've handed it to a singer that isn't as invested as I am.
Right.
I'll put
Walter Eno was very into it. And
but Walter was like, they make him do so much shit.
Yeah.
Like Walter's, I mean, he plays guitar and keyboards and sings. He's in the band. He's like one of the touring guys in Survivor and all this stuff. Like that dude can play any instrument in the world, and they know it, and they make him. So he's always doing all this heavy lifting. So he doesn't mind if I jump in there and and go, hey man, just play. I'm cool.
But I didn't. I that happened, and I didn't even think of Hal as the singer at that point. And then the summer went on, and Forrest was jamming with Hal, and I thought maybe Hal Sparks is the guy. And then so Forrest kind of floated the idea.
Had that thought.
Right. So Forrest started floating the idea to Hal, and he said that Hal, his eyes kind of, his ears kind of pricked up a little, and he thought, yeah, that could be. And then I started seeing Hal a few times at the Jam, and sort of, saying hello and asking him, and he's like, yeah, it wasn't like a committal or anything, but he definitely was interested. And then what sold it was they did for Halloween, they did the Rocky Horror Picture Show theme night. For at the Jam, and Hal was playing the nerd in the show. Yeah, and he had his glasses on, and the khaki jacket, and and he just looked perfect. And I was backstage there.
I played
I was
backstage when you had a huge boner.
Yeah, no, and I saw Hal in the glasses.
Oh my gosh, perfect.
And I said, I'm like, you're perfect. And he goes, okay.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Okay. And I go, no, you're perfect for Nerd Halen.
Yeah.
And he was like looking in the mirror, and it was a moment where he actually
that happens a lot too.
Yeah. So that's basically where
Caleb walked up to me while I was looking in a mirror and like just enjoying myself.
Yeah.
And said, you're perfect, and got a positive response is what he's getting at.
Yeah.
I like the idea of Nerd Halen just in general. And I've sung with Steel Panther over the years. Like my band, I have an original band called 01, and we do, it's legit. There's no comedy involved. And our first gig though was opening for Metal School, which is Steel Panther's first incarnation before they became Metal Shop. They were Metal Shop, then they became Metal School, then they became Steel Panther because they kept selling their name to their manager like a bunch of dumbasses. And I finally managed to talk them out of it when they got to the Steel Panther part, and like had basically an intervention. I'm like, why are you handing your branding off to other people? That's another story. But literally, like, and Darren, who's the drummer in Steel Panther, sticks it in you. And I've been friends for a long while. Yeah. So I've been jumping up on stage with those guys over the years for a long time. And I always loved the idea of being up there and able to joke and make music, but I have to leave out. And somebody in the chat room said you left out Atomic Punks. Well, yeah. Ralph, who's the lead singer of Steel Panther, Michael Starr, and that he was in Atomic Punks with Russ, and they just nailed that stuff, whatever. But they transitioned into this Steel Panther entity, and there was just something really super fun about being able to get up there, do jokes in between stuff, but when it comes time to do the songs, nail them. Like you can't. I believe you can't go up there and fuck around and do half-assed versions of shit. I hate when the real artist does that, much less some, like a bunch of nonsense dudes from, you know, Pacoima going, yeah, we have this whole concept thing, you know, like even like the Dred Zeppelin thing. Like I appreciate what they're doing, you know, the kind of Elvis meets Zeppelin kind of idea, but I can't take it. You know what I mean? I'm like, I hear it and I go, yeah. But if I saw it, I'm like, I'd want to choke someone to death, especially if I was an Elvis or a Led Zeppelin fan. If I was, I basically think they exist just to cause fights between those two groups of people. You know what I mean? Like, hey man, I'm an Elvis fan. I really love this. And like, fuck off. And they're up on stage going, we got a mosh pit. And like, no, it's a fight between fans of, you know, variant artists. So when he came to me about doing this, I was like, okay, but we have to sound like the record. Like we have to nail it, you know? And luckily, like both Victor and Jeff are great singers. So the Michael Anthony notes are within their range for being able to punch in there, you know, and do stuff. And it just sounds fantastic. And so, you know, eventually we'll teach Caleb to sing, and I hope the whole thing will be a nice package. Yeah.
But it's okay because Eddie can't sing either.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good point. But we don't want to be that authentic. We want to sound like the show where you're like, God damn. You know what I mean? Like I want to sound like Dave on the record, not Dave when he doesn't give a damn. You know what I mean? Which I think is crucial. It's crucial because I love David Lee Roth. David Lee Roth gave me the best compliment I've ever received as a musician. When I was in a jam with him at this bar in Beverly Hills for part of this failed pilot that Fox was doing, he came in there and was jamming with like me and it was Slash and Duff and David Lee Roth and some other dude on drums. I think it might have even been Ray Luzier, but I'm not sure. It's been a long time. But they were like, hey, they need a rhythm guitar player. So just sit in. They're just going to do a 12-bar blues. So you should be able to, in the middle of it, they asked me to solo. And I was like, are you out of your, what? And, you know, I didn't get a choice. I just started soloing. And afterwards, David came up to me and he went, hey man, you're a better guitar player than you think you are. And I was like, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just meant so much. Wow. And then I saw him when I did I Love the 90s. He came in to do it on VH1, walks past me in a hallway. I'm leaving after doing an 8-hour session, which is what I would do on those shows. I would just sit there for 8 hours and yap. And he was walking in to do 20 minutes of magic. And we passed each other in the hall and he goes, hey man, you're a better guitar player than you think you are. Like that, he would remember. He'd probably seen me on Talk Soup afterwards and kept that in his head or whatever. But it was amazing that he went right to it, and stuff. So I've always loved him just as an artist, you know, and just as a crazy man who managed to manage it into a perceptible humanity, as opposed to like the Perry Farrells of the world or the Crispin Glovers, as if there's a difference where there's the occasional magic and a lot of madness, you know? So, yeah.
You never told me that story.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man. I got I have a couple of stories in me. We'll see. You might be able to pull them out in the show. Okay. So, hey, how's it going with you guys?
Awesome, man.
Nobody wants to hear about us.
Yeah. Just real quick, Tessie Switch is in the chat. And
yeah. Hi, Tessie Switch.
I wanted to thank
Tessie.
I wanted to thank Tessie because he sent me some things. He sent me some colored Strat 5-way switch caps.
Oh, that's
orange and green tips. Whatever.
Switch tips.
And he's got these new guitar picks that are called T1, and they're made out of stainless steel.
Uh-huh.
Show them to you in a second here.
Like that.
There's the three of them. He has one that's like the size of a Jazz 3, maybe a tiny bit bigger than a Jazz 3 pick. One that's regular Fender style, and one that's a slight bigger than Fender style. And they're great. They sound great. They feel great in your hands. There are little holes in them so you don't drop them. You know. They're great.
I love the challenge.
I wanted to thank Rob from Tessie Switch for sending them to me. I appreciate it.
That's very sweet. And I love that you use a gay pejorative for anyone who downtunes half a step, but you'll take fluorescent pink and green.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. I've got all kinds of colored guitars. You know, I didn't say I wasn't gay.
Yeah,
I didn't say I wasn't gay. I just
That's
said that
true.
it's gay if you tune a half step low.
that's right. I'm just making sure we have a baseline so I know who I'm operating
It's
with.
also gay if you talk too much.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, the definition of too much, for example, is I can talk forever and it's not too much. You, however.
Oh,
Yeah, I've already pegged the meter. See how that works? I deal with hecklers in my weekly life. So, yeah. I like you, Dave. Don't make me land on the house.
oh, it's all good.
But I appreciate you. So,
Never heard that one.
yeah.
That's brilliant.
Well,
Can I
it's
use that?
what I do for a living. So, I'm curious because you guys found each other through your EVH love.
Yes.
Was it a similar situation? Were you all like playing and competing Van Halen cover bands and like some sort of weird Anchorman like fight broke out in a park? Yeah.
Oh,
Leave,
man.
yeah. 5150, we're calling you out. Fuck off, fair warning.
That's great.
Yeah. These are the mean streets. Kapow!
Sammy, Dave, Sammy,
Right.
Gary. What?
Get
Gary.
him.
Yeah, right. Jay came up dressed as Gary Sharon and wasn't even in the fight. They're like, what are you doing? Oh,
Just walking by.
yeah, it's like a bad Halloween costume. You're like, what are you supposed to be?
Gary Sharon, bro.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah.
Is there any? Do you guys know anybody who likes Van Halen 3 as their favorite Van Halen record?
No favorite, no. But I like
No,
this.
no.
I like the record. There's
Yeah,
a lot of good stuff on it.
Appreciate about it, yeah. But no, and it does. And it's one of those things where like it's got a lot of like this is Spinal Tap Mach 2. This is on New Direction, Jazz Odyssey. He wrote this. It has that kind of a. Most people feel that way about the record because of Gary, but I think that's kind of an unfair. It's what it honestly falls in the realm of Coverdale Page.
I love that record too.
Yeah, an unfortunately maligned quality record by
You always compare it.
odd pairing. What?
I'm saying with a record like that, you always compare it to
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
The other stuff.
Yeah, you're always dealing with that part of it. And we, at some point we may, I think we should, as Nerd Halen, dust off one of those songs as, almost from the point of view character-wise as it must be done. You know what I mean? Statistically, we must, account for a percentage of the world. I also am voting for a logo that switches to Van Hagar temporarily, that goes from a Nerd Halen to Nerd Hagar, kind of like ka-thunk, like a big clock front, but only for those. And then when we're done, we have to
Nerd Hagar. That's great. Someone's gonna do that. I better buy that.
You
got to do it right now. You got to do it right now.
Why don't you just change the NH logo to the ring? That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because that the ring signifies the Hagar era.
No, but I'm owning the trademark for Nerd Halen, but I have to get Nerd Hagar before.
Yeah, what you need to do is get nerdhagar.com and then redirect it to nerdhalen.com in a true bank shot.
Oh, God. Okay.
And if you guys haven't got,
I'll be right back.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing? All right.
You got to do it. You got to do it right now, Caleb.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Right now.
I'm serious. We got 100
I got
people
it.
watching
I was
this.
with you. Yeah.
All right.
And
Enjoy
if
it,
you
guys.
haven't gotten a cease and desist yet over that logo, you probably you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I think it falls under satire, and
Yeah.
I think we're all right.
And
Why
then
does somebody keeps writing Spaz Hagar, which I'm that seems like a Spasmatics Hagar cover crossover where you're singing all the Wendy O. Williams songs as Sammy Hagar would, which is basically identical but with a W on each ass cheek.
Wow.
I mean, think of the satire thing, right? Think of like, not that I watch them, but adult films, right? They'll have like not Star Wars.
Sure. Dude,
Not
you don't
Star
have to go
Trek.
there. There's a movie company that does like knockoff features as soon as a major Hollywood movie gets greenlit. Like when Transformers got greenlit the first time, this company put out Transmorphers and shot it in a week and a half, like and like put in crappy CG shit and released it in India and all these other countries as the movie. Almost identical. They do tons of these things. It's arguably how Sharknado came about, because they're like, let's just mess with this genre or whatever. But the company that does it, they have one for, like Silence of the Lamb. You know what I mean? Like literally, they just do it constantly. As long as you're not, Kiss with different S's, you're okay. Because talk about litigious. Gene will wipe you out.
He'll be on that ass. Yep.
Yeah. Somebody Jim keeps writing Booger Van Halen in the chat room, and I'm not sure if I should be getting a reference or if he's just saying it.
I think because of nerds, Booger.
Yeah.
Oh,
Revenge of the Nerds.
Revenge of the Nerds. Yeah. Well, and
Booger Presley.
Our EP, we're going to do a sound-alike EP of real tunes with a little bit of discussion. My goal is a little bit of our comedic stuff in between the songs, kind of chaining them together like a concept record, but with, and I think it should be called Revenge of Nerd Halen, or like,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but it should sound, like I said, it just should sound like somebody doing an honest cover, but with this, us dicking around in between.
Mm-hmm.
As it were.
Well, real quick, I just want to say, and the chat is cruising. We got 108 people watching right now.
Yeah, thanks for being here, guys.
If you want to ask a question, please tag one of us. We all should be in the chat, so just tag any one of our names if you want to ask questions.
Oh, they're tagging me like crazy. I'm getting tagged up and down.
Yeah,
and I just want to give Pariah Pickups a quick shout out. He makes pickups for Caleb's guitar. He just built me a pickup that's I'm waiting to get, that he shipped out today. And thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
Well, Caleb, you're a new. You go ahead. I'm not going to say.
Sean from Pariah Pickups has taken me into the Pariah Pickups family, and I am an official endorsed artist from Pariah.
Look at that!
I'm proud of that, because this guitar awesome. I put a Pariah pickup in after having another Van Halen style pickup in it, and I won't say what, but it changed the sound completely, and
in a good way.
Yeah,
great way. And so I'm building a Bumblebee right now, and Sean is sending me a parchment humbucker for that, the Pasadena White, I believe it's called, and that will be coming and going in that new guitar, and I'm very excited. I mean,
the sound that Caleb is able to get out of his rig is so eerily perfect, even live. It's one thing when you're like, oh yeah, I've been able to record, I've got plugins and I can recreate this circumstance, but live it sounds like you're standing next to Eddie's rig. It's crazy. And somebody asked me in the chat, what was my first Van Halen concert I saw in what year? I've never seen Van Halen live in a full concert. When they did Kimmel, I was across the street in a building. We watched out the window, but I've seen David Lee Roth live twice. I saw him Skyscraper Tour was the first time with my cousin Jerome. Jerome. He and I loved that friggin' record. And it was literally, awesome. How like some albums, that's your summer.
Yeah.
That album is, that album was my cousin Jerome and I, that was our summer in Nashville, Tennessee, hanging out, listening to that thing over and over and over again.
2 fulls a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, love that.
Yeah. So I haven't, I've never gotten a chance to see the band live. But there you go. Oh, for God's sake, put it on Silent Man.
That's I sent him that.
He just listen, yell at Jay. Don't yell at me.
I wanted to show off the post.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, awesome.
So that's the post. And he says,
it's worth it, man. I'm just saying, I don't know the Pariah Pickups people, but you made a good choice because Caleb's an artist. He's what really impressed me, again, what was the thing, that turned me on to the idea was he and I sat down, and he played a little bit, and we were kind of talking about stuff on how we put it together and how it's going to and just his ability to recreate that on stage when they were doing Panama too. I was like, this dude just sounds like Eddie, like he can do it. There's one thing to go, I know the songs. There's another thing that when, you're using the whammy bar and you can artistically put those notes in place. That's always what's been impressive to me. That's why I like, you know, like Reb Beach was a great example. You know, like when I saw Reb Beach, like whenever I remember seeing Winger on a video for the first time, and my literal first reaction was, I don't know who this asshole is, but he lucked out in the guitar department. You know what I mean? Like whenever he was putting his band together, he friggin' nailed it, right?
Yeah.
And Beach is a fucking monster. And they did the solo for Headed for a Heartbreak live. And he does that thing where he makes the notes by just floating his whammy bar and just holding the guitar. And he hit them. They were in key. Like, and I was like, oh, I thought that was just kind of something you did on a stool where you're like, yeah, I can manage this. He's literally just waving his guitar in the air and the notes are correct. I was like, I don't know who this fucker is, but that's ridiculous. That's awesome. And Caleb had that kind of playing ability. Like that's what it's supposed to sound like. That's what you do. I was like, and then I feel safe being in a cover with you, like doing covers with you, you know?
Thank you. That's
high praise.
Checks in the mail.
True. I wouldn't take a check from you. I didn't say you handled the rest of your life well. I just mean, no.
Not yet, at least.
Right. So yeah, there we go. Hi, chat room. Sorry. What's up, Mark, in the chat room? And Brendan and I apparently share a birthday in the chat room. So we have a bro birthday. There you go. I'm just scrolling back and look at these folks.
It would be a butt cheek birthday because that's Brendan Butt Cheeks.
Real quick on the sound, by the way. I just wanted another little shout out besides Pariah. There's a guy named Burke Hun who is an amp maker.
What?
Burke Hun, Hun.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Sorry. And I got hooked up with him through Mike Himmel, who I personally think is
Your what?
Mike Himmel is one of the best guitar players on
Mike
the planet.
Himmel is one of the best players and Eddie sounding players there is.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike actually saw one of my videos and contacted me just out of the blue and told me, look, man, I like the way you play, but I think you can fix that sound a little by calling this guy and getting one of these drop boxes that he builds, which lowers the voltage. Like it works like a Variac, which is how Eddie got his sound for his amps, especially in the first few albums. So I called Burke and he said he would do this prototype of a drop box that was just for an EVH style sound. And it came a few weeks ago, and it actually came like 2 days before our first gig. And I was able to use it that night at the rehearsal, which was 2 days before our gig, and then on stage. And it really does the trick, especially with my EVH EL34 50 watt configuration.
Is it bad for the amp?
It's bad for unless you have it biased. But when I took it to this guy, I actually had time to take it to a guy in the Valley right before our rehearsal. It all just rolled off very quickly. He took the amp apart and he tested it out. He said there wasn't much tweaking to do, just a little. But what it basically will do is just cooks your tubes quicker because you're using your tubes hotter, and that's what's making that soupy, gooey sound, which is how Mike Himmel describes it. It's
saturation. Yep.
It gives that gooiness that you hear on like Van Halen 1. And he's totally right. I mean, the amps, if you own one of these amps, you know you can't go over 3. You just can't. And what it does is it tricks the amp.
Noise ordinance. Right.
Yeah, well, it's your ears are like, forget it. But it tricks the amp into going to 5 or 6.
11. Goes to 11.
Yes, right.
So it's operating at that level, even though it sounds like
the square root of 11. That's what makes it nerdy, right? Yeah, so it's very important.
Beautiful device. I recommend it. If you go to the page, Facebook page, Hun Amplification, HUNN. I believe we call the unit the Hunniac, as in Variac, but Hunniac. And give him a call and or drop him an email. And it cost me $400, and it's really doing the trick. And I suggest for any amp that you have, if you wanted to get that voltage trickery,
Mm-hmm.
you get this device. So there you go for Burke Hunt.
There you go. You guys are so sweet.
And I'll do a video about it soon, so I'll post that.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Yes, I have a few.
Brazzers.
Right. Yes. Right.
And as long as we're on
Do you
endorsement,
find porn too expensive on the internet?
as long as we're on endorsements,
Have you ever been
I get my picks through Intune.
Has your wife ever walked in on you?
right? You ever have your pants down around your ankles and no spare change?
Oh, check my pockets.
Oh, damn it! I got to put another quarter in the porn machine.
Oh my god!
Damn it! And the curtain starts to close. Not now. Well, Brazzers can help you. I don't know.
Oh my god!
Is that what I'm assuming? Yes,
Assume.
I'm assuming.
Anyway, my picks are through Intune GP, who actually Johnny hooked me up with a couple years ago. That's like the first question I ever had for Johnny was in the chat asking about where I could get picks made.
That's how we met.
Yes.
Oh wow.
That's how we met. Yeah.
That's yeah. Like picks are the gateway drug of musician friendships.
Exactly. Hey, where do you get your picks?
How do you get? Hey, I wanted to get my name on a small triangular piece of plastic. How'd you do that? Oh man, I got a guy. Can I meet your guy? I mean, I don't want to meet him right away. I don't want to pimp right through you. That'd be rude. Let's hang for about a month before I use you for your pick.
Talking picks brings guitar players together.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Talking strings brings them
apart. Yeah. You used it. Well, no, man. My guy wouldn't have you. Right.
Use those strings, dude. Why aren't you using these strings?
Yeah. Right. What the hell's the matter with you? We actually, we had those. See, I can't play those things. They're too small. Caleb came to rehearsal. He jumped up with my band and we did Unchained together. And I gave him my guitar. And I play logs. I literally I think the ones that are on that one are 11 to 56.
What kind of guitar are you using?
ESP. I have that one was a ESP EC1000. And I have 3 of those that I play live. And then I have the 500s that I write with. And then I only have 2 of the main ones. The white ones I call the ghosts. The one that I will play live and it can go out. The other one stays at home because it's too perfect.
Hal has 100 guitars.
Yeah, I do.
And, when we went to his lockout, he has a lockout in Vernon, which is near downtown LA. Yeah. And we rehearsed there once. And I just remember walking in and it's just lined with guitars and amps. It's just all the way around. You're encircled by all this gear. And I know the feeling.
It's great.
It's ridiculous.
It's one, obviously at some point you go, I have an illness, but then, but you also, I personally believe as a songwriter that every guitar has at least 12 songs in it. Mm-hmm. Just how it plays is just variantly physically different neck wise. That some necks are slipperier than others. Some are frustrating, but they'll make you write a riff that's outside what you normally do because of that very reason. And they each have you literally move to the side so we can see it. Hey, you got the Cantrell back there. Is that what that is? Is that a G&L or is
no,
that
no. This guitar right here?
Yeah.
That's an old 84 Kramer.
Yeah. Which I think is the G&L that Jerry Cantrell uses was originally like a knockoff of that Kramer.
Yeah.
One knob, one pickup. It just wasn't a slanted pickup because I think I guess the factory had slipped off a hill while they were working. I don't know. Anyways,
how Dave has one of the most extensive Van Halen replica collections, and there you go. Look at this.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Look at that.
Then there's this one. And
I
have when we play in the tri-state area, Dave's going to bring a truck. And every song, I'm going to use a different one of those.
I think it's a brilliant idea.
That's the
fuck you, Caleb. I think I'm gonna play. You're not. You're gonna give me the guitar.
I get to go. These are mine. Nobody touches these but mine.
No, I lend everyone my stuff. I'm fine with everyone playing my stuff.
Yeah, you guys seem like you're in a blood pact.
I don't. As long as I know who you are. I mean, listen, I've done gigs where I've invited. Do you guys know who Phil Grande is, or he just passed away? Phil Grande was the guitar player for what's his name? The singer that from the 70s. What the hell is his name?
That guy, the guy who sang in the 70s.
You are so beautiful. Joe Cocker.
How could you forget Cocker?
Because I can't think of my name.
Okay.
So I lend him my guitar for a song. He plays a song and he bleeds all over it.
Yeah, I had that. I had the same thing happen. I have a custom 69 3 pickup, Les Paul, and we used it on Talk Soup once because we were shooting a fake music video. So I was like, this will be cool. We'll get it on camera. Right off. And one of the writers played the guitar player in the song we were doing, which was basically they're doing a retrospective, like what Hal did before Talk Soup, to try to like introduce me to the viewer. And I had a band and our only hit was Hey Underpants, Where'd You Learn How to Dance? And we recreated that song. I recorded it or whatever, but we had this guy, Matt, played it on the air like he was doing, and he can't play guitar at all. So he didn't have a pick or anything in his hand. And he was just, at the end of the shoot, I recognized he was just raking his fingers across the string. And it was just, he's like, my hands really hurt. And he looks at his hands, there's just blood pouring out of his. I'm like, asshole. What? And he bled all down the front of this 69 Les Paul. I'm like, give me that thing. He just sprayed this thing off.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's frightening. Like,
yeah, it's scary.
Like
it's scary. Unfortunately, he just passed away like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But
blood loss?
Something lost, yeah.
Yeah, right. That happens, man. You can only bleed that long on stage, before you realize you had undiagnosed hemophilia during your entire career.
It's very funny.
Sorry. It was, and somebody in the chat room corrected us. It was Betty Crocker. That was the singer, right? Yeah, just to clarify. Lend Epiphones for the videos. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. Well, that was the thing. I literally, it was an idiot move on my part. I was like, well, he'll know, like, who's that stupid? You know what I mean? He's just going to basically be standing there pretending to strum. And then, and then it all went south. So yes, now I have stunt guitars. So I have this like Ibanez I bought in Thailand that has on the front of it, the metal plates they put on doors, push and pull. Yeah. I found the one that said pull in Thai and stuck it on the front of there because I was like, that's badass. That's a little inside joke, right about where it hangs. And that's my go-to, like, yeah, this looks rock and roll. This is good for a photo shoot, but don't touch my other shit. Yeah.
Awesome.
Brownies are so beautiful to me, says Krell Bar in the chat. Brownies are so beautiful to me.
Go easy on the pipe.
Aneurysm. I think we're all shocked he didn't die of an aneurysm on stage. I think as as fans, we were denied.
Let me just real quick. The other endorsement I need to announce is with FU Tone, with Adam at FU Tone. And
FU Tone.
Yes.
Wait, FU Tone and Pariah Picks. No one wants to be around you, Caleb. They're telling you something. Like, I use piss off picks and get lost loser strings.
FU Tone makes these,
so Pariah
awesome bridge blocks.
Yeah, that's nice. Beautiful.
Fat big blocks that helps with the tone and stainless steel. What are these called? Screws and all kinds of stuff. So Adam has taken me.
Just to be clarified, a Pariah pick is just like a regular pick. They just buy at a store, but they shun it from an Amish community. Is that how it's made? You no longer belong here.
Let's make it clear.
Right. And then
clarify. In tune makes the picks. Pariah makes the pickups. And
oh my God, I did not know I was signing on for a commercial here. Free. Okay. You guys can't afford me. I'm just saying.
That was the commercial break, and here we go.
Bitches.
All right. So should we continue with how the band assembled?
P500 is a fantastic guitar. It comes stock with 8185. The strings are so soft you won't even bleed all over the fretboard. It's fantastic, people, or whatever. Look at these knobs. Wait.
Jim Nicholas, this is my first K&E bottle.
Yeah, I could only get a sponsor for knobs. I don't know why that was. Yes,
so anyway,
they charge me full price for the guitars, but they give me the knobs for free. So it's as a non EVH level player, I find that's a win. Yeah, Anthony, man. Knobs. Fucking get over yourself. Janice, I have another stream to attend. See you later. Oh my God. We've just been bounced by someone in the chat.
Oh, Janice, come on.
Oh, come on, Janice.
Damn it, Janice.
Watch the replay of that one.
Seriously. Just have them both up. What the fuck's the matter with you? They'll probably overlap. I have to go to the Sammy Hagar chat, which is it's all chicken foot related. I'm late for the chicken foot chat. God damn.
All right. Any other questions?
None. Whatever.
What kind of batteries do you use, or are you use passive pickups?
Somebody's got a Music Man out, I think. Is that what that is? Yeah, there you go.
That's a Wolfgang.
I have to say, here's a fan talking. Growing up, looking at the Eddie guitar as this, this Frankenstein monstrosity he put together. When he started playing the Music Man, it looked like a dickhead jazz move. It looked like a jazz guitar. It looked like something you'd see a session guy play.
Potato chip.
It
looked like a potato chip.
Yeah, well, they just look like they look like, oh, I play this because I do a lot of work for, I played on Katy Perry's record, and then the next week I had to do dump solos on the Korn record, and then I had to go over and do some patch rhythm work on, some TV spots for Progressive. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like a stage guitar, and even the fact, like, the shape doesn't bother me, but I would rather have him dirty him up to look like he plays, because at least, like, I think, like, Kirk Hammett, who's not one of my favorite lead players, I have to say, if I can go out on a limb.
Yeah, he's horrible.
Yeah,
and
now you're speaking Dave's language right now.
Well, yeah, you and I are on the same page.
He's got one great solo. The problem is he does it on every song. But you know what I mean? I'm like, do you realize what a dick Dave Mustaine has to be? I'm just saying. Yeah. Anyway, so point being, like, he has all those, like, he's got his own signature guitar, but he has them throw those monster movie shit on top of them, and they're brand new, fresh out of the box. They are obviously not the ones he wrote and worked on albums with, but they look the part. And I just felt like the Music Man, when it came out, man, I was like, it just looks like something your guitar teacher plays and tries to talk you out of your rock guitar. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you come in and you're like, for guitar lessons, and you brought in your 1985 Kramer because you're a fucking fan, and you're like, this is what I play. And he's like, well, for proper angle of your wrist position, you're going to want a slightly flatter and wider neck. I recommend Grandpa's guitar, like, oh shit.
It's very funny.
It does, so
I've got a great analogy for Kirk Hammett. His vibrato is like a 12-year-old boy fucking for the first time.
Whoa.
Well, that's inappropriate, you mean?
No, just
he comes in too early. Is that what you're saying?
Just horrible.
I don't even know what that's a terrible analogy. Here's what I think. I think there's a disconnect between the machinery, like Hetfield's rhythm playing is in and of itself lead worthy. And it's hard to compete with that. And you have to either speed through it and lock in with what he's doing, or you have to create a melody over top of it, like unto the lyrics. And the best kind of soloing for that is often what Dave Mustaine does, which is vacillate between the two. Go to the melody, come back to a run that's about the intensity, because ultimately what it has to be is that the song, feeling wise, you have to lose your mind at one point. You have to be like playing the melody, but God damn it, you know what I mean? To have that punch that goes with it. And Jason's, what's happened to this show? Exactly what should, and stop crying.
Oh my God.
Did somebody say 12-year-old boy is fucking? No, Dave said it.
Wow.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
That was good.
And you said it with your own big fat mouth.
Yeah, I did. That's right. So let's see, did Metallica ever think of firing Kirk? Daily. I'm sure. My thing about them, and not to, I don't want to veer too far off the ranch. I mean, most of the time when you're talking about Metallica, you're shitting on Lars's drumming. But I thought Jason Newsted was a great addition to the band, and I think his problem was timing. Entering that band when everybody was really fucked up, and it protected Kirk. You know what I mean? I think at one point, if they'd have synced better with Jason and dealt with the fact that he was in the band, I think they might have broomed Kirk at one point. But then Kirk wrote the riff / stole whatever the I don't know what the ruling was on it on Enter Sandman, and that locked him in for the decade. You can't dust the dude who wrote that, so that's what stuck that in there. And there's But anyways, back to Van Halen. So, that's what we're here to talk about. Nerd Halen, at Nerd Halen on Twitter. Follow at Nerd Halen. Follow at Hal Sparks and Caleb Rapoport on Twitter as well, and then our Facebook page. And am I doing all? You guys sold your fucking pics. I can at least do the social media push. I've flung yo-yos with Marty Friedman. I hope that's not an analogy, but I think that's great.
Proud of you.
Yeah. Marty Friedman's amazing. He's spot on about Newstead. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. I like you a lot better than the whingy bastard who was complaining about the chat earlier. As long as you continue to play Van Halen guitars, you're going to be typecast to play like Van Halen or Van Halen material. Oh, no.
Yeah.
What if that happened, guys? Then what would we do?
I don't know.
I guess we'd all have to.
I'm screwed. Oh,
ESP 500s now available with ESP 500. Oh my God. I have to. Can I? I mean, I should have started this whole thing with the caveat of there is a bass line. Oh, thank God, Dave's gone. Oh, no, he's back. Okay, never mind. He's back. Oh, he's got it. Look at that. He's got a. I'm kidding. I knew he was getting a guitar. You can see him doing it. It's a joke. He's got a gem there. That's beautiful. We can get into a Steve Vai conversation and the whole like Eat 'em and Smile, Skyscraper era. Love that stuff. But understand, everything I say musically has a baseline that is above all real problems in life. I think some people, when they talk about music and what they don't like and like about albums, there's this idea that it is somehow on par with like the death of someone or a car crash or cancer, like real shit, and it's not. It's like 20 feet above that. You know what I mean? It's within the safe zone. It's like learning to fly a plane. You give yourself an extra 1,000 feet to not crash into shit. And I think the conversation about this is, I could shit on Kirk Hammett's playing all day and I still prefer him to the common cold. You know what I mean? So let's understand that. And how many guitars do I own? That's a good question, Jim. I'm going to go with 55 currently. Think
55.
Yeah, right.
I was up to 55 guitars at one point.
Yeah. I mean, there are a few I could get rid of because I just they just didn't fit or suit. I have a Deane that for whatever reason, rejects me like a baboon's heart. It just doesn't, it's like it's a bad organ transplant in a third world country. You just put it in and it just kind of works its way to the surface and
Oh my
Just-
god.
Oh man.
Can't make that happen. Trujillo should have stayed in suicidal tendencies and infectious grooves. Well, except for the fact that he's now a millionaire and has a real career. I like suicidal tendencies and infectious grooves. I think they were lucky to have him. I think they're great bands. But for him as a human being, this is a huge win being in Metallica. And he's a good guy. I like Trujillo. He taught my first bass player how to play bass in 01. Robert Hall, who has a company called Almost Human. It's a creature effects company. He did all the monsters on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the series.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So he did all the like anybody who had any facial applications, any wounds, any cuts, bleeding, blah, blah, that was all him. And he lived when he first started, he was working for Roger Corman and not making any money doing monster effects. And he lived in Robert Trujillo's guest house. And he basically, because they were buddies, he was like, show me some bass stuff. And they learned to play. And he ended up playing on my first record. So,
Wow. Very
Yeah.
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Along with Doug Pinnick from King's X.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love me some King's X.
Wow.
Yeah. So, So, the gem, like, like Steve Vai. I just friggin' love that guy. I love his weirdness. I love his dedication. I love his music. Passion and Warfare is one of my favorite, like, guitar instrumental records of all time.
It's the best.
Yes. Yeah. I
agree.
love that. I love that record. The amount of work he did, the idea that he I think the drummer had to play the part backwards so that he wouldn't throw his own timing in on one part. He was like, the rhythm part was so specific. He goes, chart it backwards because you're playing it like a rocker and I need you to nail certain parts like this. So just chart it backwards and play the thing and we'll reverse it because you're reaching into the next beat. And like, just that opening of For the Love of God and the idea that he like fasted for 2 days before he did it, and he hadn't picked up the guitar, I think, for 3 days before he did it. He recorded all the music, and then he did the solo in one take. And at the beginning, you hear him exhale. That's him literally breathing into a microphone before he starts playing.
Wow.
Just the dude's amazing. I mean, he's nuts. He has dreams that his spine's intertwined with the neck of the guitar and it's his girlfriend and all kinds of stuff like that. He's friggin' amazing. And his live concert in England, the one he put out, I forget the name of the venue.
Astoria?
Yeah, live at the Astoria is friggin' fantastic.
Yeah,
that dude, like, that's just one of my favorite. I mean, to watch, the G3 shows and all that stuff are really cool, but to watch that guy do his show as a guitarist is amazing.
Yeah, I'd rather see Vi by himself than with anybody else.
Yeah, yeah. Do you like? I gotta look up the name of it. It always escapes me. You guys know that album, Vinnie Moore, Mind's Eye?
Sure.
That
It's like 87 or 88.
yeah. So that's my second favorite instrumental guitar record of all time. Really underrated, really went under the radar. They used to play sections of it on KNAC back in the day when there was a metal radio station that we could all live by. And it was fantastic. Like, it just was like a soundtrack record, you know. Krell Bar says they like Time Odyssey. Yeah. Let's see. Steve Vai has a nice home in Incline Village, Nevada, along with Coverdale.
I hope he has a nice home.
Wait, together? They live together? What a weird.
My guitar's out of tune.
It happens.
Yeah. When you
I had
got
the AC on today.
47 guitars in there, one's bound to be out of tune.
Well, it
Just
shouldn't be ones that you play often. Like, I play this guitar often.
Right.
Yeah.
I had the AC going today and should have tuned it up.
Oh, it's gonna get flagged. Hold on.
Ding.
I won't flag it. I'm talking over it. You won't get flagged. And nobody gives a shit about this record. That's the thing. Like, What do you think? Warner Brothers are going to come after you because you're fucking with Vinnie Moore?
I thought you were going to say no one gives a shit about this channel.
Johnny playing his own music. He
Oh yeah,
does. He gets things
I can
from
do that.
music.
I can play my own. You get well, you know what? I got flagged on my own stand-up special, airing clips from that because my band. I used my band's song "Animal" to walk on stage, and it flagged it as as usage. And TuneCore was like, "Somebody's using your song." I'm like, "I am, you dickheads." Took like 7 letters to get them to calm the fuck down, and then I realized I made more money from their flag of my song than I did the Google AdSense on my own station. So I was like, I let it stay. I let I was like, I succumbed to the copyright thing. Let them gather the money. Yeah. Yeah, they live together. Nothing gets past you, does it? Thank you, Anthony. Thank you for spotting that. Don't forget to share this video to Twitter. Oh, Johnny Beane's doing that. Is he went off camera just to do all kinds of links or something? Or
No, Nightbot. That Nightbot is Johnny, but it just happens.
It's a bot.
Yeah.
I wish he
This
could rename it to like
dude's a
Mike
machine.
Nightbot.
Yeah, right. Like something like
EVH.
I don't know. Yeah, right. Wolfgang von Bot. I do the little tiny guitars in the background that are in Jay, that are in your case back there. Your little play guitars.
Full size. It is so far away, and I'm so large.
Yeah, it's just a giant, which is weird because that amp must be 7 stories high.
It's a 4x80. I got 4x80 speakers in there.
Have you ever been looking on eBay for like a guitar that you want, and you're like, I'm looking at this thing, and then you're like, I found it. Oh my god, it's so cheap. Oh, it's a miniature.
Yeah. Yeah.
$12.
Absolutely, you have, Dave. That like I've done that a bunch of times. I have a Prince Cloud guitar.
I love those things.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I love that thing.
And
yeah.
but it took me a while to find one. Obviously now since he passed, no one in his group is protecting the copy on that at all. So there's all sorts of mock-ups getting thrown up, and they're decent guitars. Most of them are made at the at Korean factories where they make a ton of Fenders and other stuff. They're actually really good. But 10 years ago, they were it was like dudes who played in Prince cover bands who had made their own and then decided there was more money in playing Michael Jackson. So they just sold their gear since they weren't playing it anyways. But it was a functioning guitar. I have one of those. But I was like, when I'm going through eBay looking for it, and I was like, oh, there's one. Oh, it's a toy.
I think
it's a toy.
I think Washburn makes one too. And I think that one, or maybe it's either Washburn or Schecter, I think makes one. And it's supposed to be really good quality.
Hold on, how far do I have to hold it out to make it
Farther. Farther.
There you go.
There
Just
it is.
about as far as your dick has to go out.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I think it's pretty. Yeah, it's actually. I think there's something like a perspective video gag to be done there, Caleb. You might need to get one. If you don't already have 6, you probably do. But if you don't,
I don't have any.
Right. I'm surprised you haven't had a birthday cake with one of those on it every year of your life for the last 10 years.
With edible reflectors. They're candy reflectors. You can eat
my God.
look at that.
Right.
Honey, if you're watching, there you go.
There's your
You can make, dude, suckers would be so awesome.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my idea. I just came guitar suckers. I just invented that. And it's on the internet forever. There you go.
Frankenstein lollipop. I love it.
I think Adam probably just figured that out after hearing it. Adam Reaver will probably
Adam
come
Reaver
out.
from Epic Tone.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Wow.
Yeah, Schecter makes the one you're talking about, and they're $4,000.
Yeah, they're expensive, but they're really good quality.
They damn well better be. But literally, like on eBay, you can find ones, for $398 now, like regular and any color you want, and you could get the giant Prince sign one, the artist formerly known as one, that giant monstrosity he played with the weird hanging wiener. Like for $370. Like, and you know what struck me about that guitar always was that it was clearly, at least in terms of the storyline of the movie, it was a prop. It wasn't a functioning guitar. It was a mannequin was holding it in a mall window, and it wasn't even a guitar store.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so 80s. It was just kind of like, it was the skeleton. So the idea is that she got it for him, and when he flums his fingers across it, it's not in tune, obviously, but that it's not a real guitar, essentially, and he had to turn it into one. That's why I didn't play it till later. I want to see the missing, the missing scenes from that. You know, we cut this out of Purple Rain, him in his lab with the jars of preserves behind him, and his dad's old sheet music. You know, adding pariah pickups.
The best line in that movie was when his dad was like, "Never get married.
You don't get married. Never get married." Oh no. Yeah. I don't have to write them down. I don't write them down. I don't have to. And then he finds them all written down. Son of a bitch. I'd have shot you myself. Prince is a pretty good guitar player. Prince was an amazing guitar player. Prince was so good at every instrument he played that he could have just done that.
Yep.
He's like me with acting and comedy and directing and writing. You know, if I could do any of them and just do that and still be the best.
Multifaceted.
That's right. Well, you know, I have to say that was part of the inspiration when I was a kid, because I always planned on acting and doing stand-up. But the idea was, don't do the other one unless you can do it so well that's all you can do. You know,
Right.
If you need the other one to keep you afloat, you're not an actor. If you need acting to keep your stand-up afloat, you're not a stand-up. That kind of idea. And I think like he was really an inspiration. The fact that like as a singer and songwriter, piano player, like he could have just been the piano player in almost any band, and like we're lucky to have him.
Right.
You know, same with guitar, same with bass, writing, creating beats, all that stuff.
You know who I think else is like that? I think Lenny Kravitz also deserves something like he's also great at every instrument he plays.
Yeah, he's more of a permanent rhythm player though. He's got amazing rhythm chops. I've never heard his soloing go into the realm.
It's not, his soloing's not great. It's, you know, it's like Beatlesque good,
which is fine,
which is great.
But Prince was like, he could have been the lead guitar player in the band, and you'd have been lucky to have him, as well as the rhythm guy. You know what I mean? That was what was incredible about him. So
yeah, it took me a long time to actually realize that Prince was as talented as he is. Or as he is.
Yeah. It really wasn't until Michael Jackson started fucking kids that we realized that Prince wasn't weird at all.
Oh.
Well, you know, that was the big chase around when you were a kid. Like, who's weirder? You know, who's the, you know, like, there was always a big, like, who would have thought? And I saw Prince live, you know, when he did that little run of shows in Los Angeles. And I'd been a fan, like, I owned Sign of the Times as a video movie when it came out and all that stuff, like right away, you know, waiting for albums to come out, always a fan. But, you know, he would perform in like a leather G-string and a yellow raincoat, you know, and it would turn out fairly monogamous, normal dude, actually. Meanwhile, Michael's like, you know,
I got something
black or white. Yeah. Meanwhile. Yeah. Yeah. So I was always that. Yeah. Prince had an awesome Strat with a Floyd. He also had, he played, what's the Telecasters?
His Tokai?
Yeah.
Tokai Telecaster?
Yeah, that thing's amazing.
Yeah, that's Sky. I think the Sky Blue Telecaster or Stratocaster he played at the Super Bowl with the Floyd with one.
Don't remind me of that Super Bowl because the Bears lost. I don't want to hear.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Jay, where are you?
It rained though.
Are you in Chicago?
Well, I was born in Chicago, but I live in South Carolina now.
Oh, gotcha. All right, you had to move there for just racist reasons.
Just because the Bears sucked for so long.
They drove you all the way down to South Carolina.
But now that they're good again, maybe I'll move back. I just can't.
Not a bad idea. I went to high school in Chicago. Chicago's my favorite city in North America, hands down.
There's a question from a Jeffrey Page.
No, we're talking Bears. I don't care about any questions.
Jeffrey Page, who has the same name as our drummer.
Yeah, because he is.
I think it is our drummer, right? What's Caleb's favorite underrated VH guitar solo? and we could probably get an answer from everyone on here. I underrated guitar solo.
I have the perfect one.
I think So This Is Love is maybe one of Eddie's best solos because it's the perfect combination of Clapton and Holdsworth in a solo. Like he goes both ways, and it's perfect. I love that solo. I love playing it. I want to do that song so badly, Hal, by the way. I know it's not a top, it does, because we're doing hits in the 45-minute set we have. There's no room for deep cuts, but if we're gonna
eventually
go deep,
there will be.
Yeah.
When we're picked to do like AT&T's corporate summer jam for a ridiculous amount of money, and they need 3 60-minute sets, we're gonna be scraping we're gonna do the whole Gary Sharon album.
Van Halen 3.
I'll learn the whole goddamn thing. Just so
up next, Dirty Water Dog.
Yeah, right.
Totally. Yeah, no. Obviously, push comes to shove. I think everybody knows that solo is top 5 for sure. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
I got the same record, push come to shove.
Yeah, that's
amazing solo.
I think that's not underrated amongst guitar players. I think everybody who plays guitar knows that solo is ridiculous. So I was going to go.
Ironically, the Beaded Solo.
Yeah.
Is a highly underrated Van Halen solo, if only because it's now become a more obscure piece of music history. It used to be well known that was like, oh, he got Eddie Van Halen to do that. Now it's kind of, for whatever reason, fallen to the dustbin of history. And I think it's because Eddie's not in the video. So yeah. So I think that's partly why. And when you do see a guitar player, it's Jennifer Batten most of the time, and what people know.
Yeah.
So they assume, a lot of people I think assume that solo was her or something.
Right.
Or
and Lukather's the other guitar player on that song.
Well, Lukather, the band that did the Thriller record is Toto.
Right.
It's the whole Toto. It's Toto with Michael Jackson singing lead. No wonder white people love that album.
Everybody should love that.
Is there any way we could, I love these songs, Michael, and they're perfect. Can we make them whiter so that we can sell more records? Well, we could have Toto record them. Not that white. So it worked though. I'm a big fan of Cathedral. I know most people go straight to Eruption.
Yeah.
But when he did that one, I was like, okay, this is the next step. Because I grew up an Ace Frehley fan. And like the Fractured Mirror as a continuing instrumental solo on his solo stuff, you guys probably just crickets. Did you hear that? Yeah, it wasn't even I know that. It was just kind of what the hell is what? Vista Light said, I heard Eddie did the solo for free. Really?
Yeah,
on Beat It?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's the number one iTunes download of all time.
What's the name of that? What's the name of that solo, Eddie? If you had to name it, Lesson Learned.
Well, the thing is he thought everyone was going to be pissed that he actually was on somebody else's song.
Do it uncredited, but get the check, man.
And Dave was more pissed because he didn't get paid for it. Dave was like, "You didn't get paid for it?"
Yeah.
He didn't think anybody would know that he did it.
Yeah, nobody's gonna know I was on.
I'll tell you what. When I first heard it, I didn't realize it was Eddie Van Halen.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I didn't.
I heard about it.
I heard 13 years old.
The irony is, I heard he did it before I saw the video. That's the only reason I watched it. Actually, I was like, I liked Michael Jackson. My mom and my sister loved Michael Jackson, and I was fine with it. But I was always more of a Prince fan. And when the video for that was they were debuting it on MTV. And they did kind of a lead up to it as they did. And I was like, oh, well, I'll watch this because Eddie Van Halen does the solo on it. That's kind of interesting. I didn't even know what kind of song it was going to be like.
Yeah.
And then I was like, he's not in it. It's not. What? Okay. It's a decent song.
I asked if he wanted to be in it. He's like, no, I'm not going to be.
Yeah.
In that video.
Yeah.
I think he couldn't do the choreography, so they said no.
They wanted him. It was like the Prince thing where he wouldn't be the other gang member.
Right.
You know that story?
No.
Prince Michael Jackson contacted Prince. Prince told this story. Michael Jackson contacted Prince and said, I want you to be the other gang leader
Wow.
in the video against me.
Yep.
And Prince turned him down because he said to his friends, there is no way I'm letting Michael Jackson say your butt is mine to me. That's true. I'll Wait is a kick-ass solo, says Evo 8. Yeah. And I'll Wait, and Caleb knows this, is my favorite Van Halen song.
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
I love a lot of Van Halen. I've got, and again, it's about degrees, but I'll Wait has always just like, for whatever reason, timing wise, yeah, that's amazing. Like that solo in it is, it's choppy when it needs to be and fluid when it needs to be. It's so good. And then the keyboards are kind of, they fit into the song better than like Jump is probably the best example of him using keyboards where they fit into the song really cleanly. They're a little punchy and harsh, little rocker playing keyboards a lot of times, especially on Right Now. I would even say like there are places where Right Now is it's definitely him playing because it's a little, punchy.
Well, you know what? He actually writes most of the songs on keyboard.
Yeah.
Most of the Van Halen riffs and songs were written on the piano.
Well, it's like Doug Pinnick says he writes bass lines like they're horn sections. He writes a horn part on a bass, and that's how and then once the guitar part comes in over it, it makes it heavier and chunkier. But effectively, the rhythm and the melody of the bass line is basically this. Like that kind of, and he writes it as such, and then layering over a dissonant guitar chord over top of it creates the kind of metal and rock sound of it.
Wow.
Yeah. So thank you. The bot is thanking Guitar Player Magazine. That's lovely.
Yeah, top Jimmy, another good soul. That's a good call for sure.
Yeah. What's the chat room think? Let's see.
Yeah, that was a good question.
I'm still burning the torch for the Secrets solo. Says Crowbar.
That's a great
They
song.
replayed the track because they didn't like exactly the way it was done the first time. Oh, you're saying that's actually Luke that they're playing on Beat It and not Eddie Van Halen, but they just recreated it once he left the room?
I doubt it.
Toto was hired because Steely Dan was unavailable.
Hey, Jason. I'm here, Jason.
We lost Johnny entirely. He's just been tweet shitting the entire show. There he is. So Johnny's sleeping. There he is. Hang him high, diver down. There you go. Yeah.
Hang 'em High is just a continuous solo. They happen to put words in between, but he's
Great song. What a
constantly
great song.
Yes, and all one pass, 3 instruments, by the way.
Oh, he
Just
did the
like-
rhythm. Right.
Yeah, no overdubs in that song. Just like everyone knows, "Hot for Teacher" is my favorite. Three instrument, one pass songs ever recorded. I believe it's the greatest rock recording of 3 instruments, one pass, no overdubs. Incredible.
So I want to run this by, since you guys are such you're nearly as Nerd Halen as we are. By the way, follow at Nerd Halen on Twitter and the Nerd Halen Facebook page. I'm Hal Sparks at Hal Sparks, and Caleb Rapoport is at Caleb Rapoport.
That's it.
I'm gonna do that shit. Gene Simmons produced their initial demos and shopped them around, and allegedly could not get them off the ground. Nobody was interested, and then they managed to find their way to the front of the line later. But at the end of Beautiful Girls, it is my contention that Dave is doing a sarcastic impersonation of Gene Simmons. I love him. I need him. Can't live without him. No, is him literally doing Gene.
Wow. Good call.
That's him. He's making
Or
fun
Louis
of how
Armstrong.
Gene, he's
Right?
huh?
Or Louis
No.
Armstrong? No.
Nope. He's making fun of Gene. Gene produced the demo on that song, and he was, fucking around later on when they record the real version. He was basically fucking with Gene.
Mhm.
'Cause it's a dead on to like mid 70s.
I think the Gene Simmons version was called "Bring On the Girls."
Yes.
Right.
It was a little different.
Right. But it's not it's not like the EZO record, which is, Gene basically writing lyrics for Japanese people.
Right. Or Fat Albert. There's the Fat Albert. It's so funny. Can we tell him
What
we do for Ain't Talking About Love?
Yeah, sure, of course. Yeah.
At the end of Ain't Talking About Love, there's a bunch of hey, hey, heys, right?
Mhm.
So Hal throws in. Go ahead, you do the voice.
Oh, I hold up a card that says "Hey, hey, hey" on it, like for each of the things, just to tell the audience what to do. It's just got "Hey, hey, hey" written on it 3 times, and then I hold up after we've done it twice. I hold up one with a bale of hay on it that says it across the top, and then on the last one, I have a picture of Fat Albert.
Rule of 3.
Yeah,
Very funny.
so it's, yeah, it's a good time. Dude, I've renewed respect for Dave just switching guitars like he's Tom Kiefer on a festival stage.
Yeah.
Every time. Is that a Satriani?
No, it's a Steve Lukather.
Oh, okay. I see. We're keeping the family.
Steve Lukather and I guitar.
Everything is 5 degrees of Cosby, says Krellbar. Man, if you're in 5 degrees of Cosby, move 3 degrees away.
Not anymore.
Huh?
Not anymore.
Well, I mean, you could be a couple cells away. I'm just saying.
That's true.
Mitch says they saw Louis Armstrong in person in 1965, and he still has his wallet. So there you go. Tom Kiefer, Pat's Dogs.
Pat's Dogs.
Pat's Dogs. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a hot dog commercial that they did before they made it big.
Oh, right on. I'm a huge Cinderella fan. Like I have my other cover band that I would have is called Night Songs. I'm just doing the first record, top to tails, because it's 35 minutes. It's the perfect set. There's 10 songs that are 3.5 minutes each. Like just a huge fan, but live, and he's a great guitar player too, really an unsung guitar player. Yep. But he will take a guitar, he'll switch guitars 3 times in a song. He'll go he'll have acoustic, then a lap steel, then a Les Paul, then back to the acoustic for the end of it. And he just takes them off and throws them, like just Hail Marys them, doesn't even look, and is like, whoever his tech is must be the sweatiest, most frightened chihuahua of a human being. Just, I hope I don't drop it. I hope I don't drop it. Because he plays these like 59 Les Pauls on stage and these like actual acoustics. I'm like, dude, go out with a bunch of applause copies. Don't do that to your dude. One bounce and the whole tour is in the red. I thought Kiefer was a better player than Jeff LaBar, says Jim Nicholas. I would say that they are complementary but different, because LaBar's very much a metal player and Kiefer's very much a blues player. And they just split the songs that way, When they played together, they had a very, like Queensryche double solo sound to them, because they would just stay in line through the trills. But yeah, you can tell the difference between how they play. Night Songs was a killer album, and then they got too bluesy. I agree. The third album was a wreck. I liked Long Cold Winter's amazing. But yeah. But the third one, yeah, once they start, there's nothing sadder to me than metal guys and hair metal guys in particular trying to gain credibility by being bluesy. And I think that
ruined Kirk Hammett.
Kirk Hammett couldn't be bluesy if his life depended on it.
Right. Well, if you actually gave him the blues.
Yeah.
You have to have good vibrato to be a good blues player.
On this next album. Why?
Thanks, John.
You're Metallica.
Did you ever see? Hal? Did you ever see that someone did a picture of Photoshop of Kirk Hammett walking, but he's got 2 wah-wah pedals under his feet, like as shoes. It's the funniest thing ever.
But I do think I think my cover band, that's a great idea for a Hal Sparks cover band, Metallica. And the whole show takes place during a meet and greet. Today is Telecaster
People give
Tuesday.
you guitars.
Yeah. Telecaster
is.
Tuesday? Really?
It is
Yeah.
Clayton.
Yeah, Clayton. It is, man.
I used to hate Telecasters. The only two, and it was until I saw Prince play one. Hated him. You know why? Because Tom Petty played one, and my sister liked Tom Petty when I was in high school, and I hated him. Ugh.
Really, you don't like Telecasters? Because I think there's every song has a perfect place for a Telecaster in
Every song? No.
every
There's
song.
not There's not a single Exodus song wherein a Telecaster.
One song.
At no point. At no point during the creation of Master of Puppets would a Telecaster have solved any problems.
I don't know.
Master Puppet's got some cool parts on it for that.
It does, but they're Germanic in their cleanliness. You know what I mean? There's no, even the bluesier parts of it have a lot more to do with like concert violin than they do with rock guitar, classic rock guitar, anyways.
Nerd Talica. Is that taken? Nerd Talica.
Yeah, right.
Well, I let me be the drummer, please. Let me be the drummer.
Better get it.
Anybody could do that.
Anybody can be the
Be able to
drummer.
play drums.
Me and my wife went to see this Metallica tribute band at the House of Blues here in Myrtle Beach about a year ago.
Right.
The singer and the lead guitar player, they had, the singer with the rhythm guitar, he had the white Explorer and everything. The lead guitar player had the hair down, looking kind of like Kirk. The drummer came out looking like he was in a Korn cover band with the basketball shirt, the headband on, and I'm like a do-rag,
Right.
McCormica.
With the spandex with the white high tops,
Oh.
no shirt with the leg warmers, and the
Did
white.
you just come from aerobics or
That's what look at Lars.
just walked in from being rolled at Sturgis?
So you got to do.
Well, isn't Lars like a tennis pro? Like when he was a kid, he was like a tennis prodigy or something?
Supposedly he could have been. That's why, yeah.
Right.
Maybe he's just letting everybody know he's half step down, if you know what I mean.
Nerdle Beach. I like that.
Nerdle Beach. Oh shit.
Oh,
The best
shit.
Metallica tribute is in Ohio, the Four Horsemen. Yeah, I've seen them. Actually, they came up to Chicago once. They're pretty solid. Yeah. Ride the Wawa. Master of Dunlops. So sad.
Master of
Toxic
Dunlop.
Waltz. Yeah. So close to 5150 subs. Yeah. Oh, I see. How do you get a bot doing your chat for you? That's crazy.
It's all it's all on timers. So it's like every how many like lines of chat, so many minutes, they'll set one off.
You have to teach me how to do that for my chat room. I have no idea how to do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll show you.
Cinderella opened for David Lee Roth on the Skyscraper tour. So did I. Get you bite. That's the show that I went with my cousin Jerome to see, but I saw them in it was I want to say Nashville, but it might have been Rupp Arena in Lexington. I forget which one we saw it in because that whole year blends together, but I think it might have been Nashville. So yeah, it was fantastic. I have that's what made me buy the they had like Cinderella had like a 6-song video you could get of a live show with them doing night songs and Shake Me and Once Around the Ride and Push and I think that was it. It was like pretty limited. It was like whatever their set was, whatever their 6 songs that they were doing, that's what you got. I bought that at that show and it was like, I wore the hell out of that thing. I copied it because it was getting run down. This is back in the day of VHS. And I had it. It ended up being the opening for Bobcat Goldthwait, Share the Warmth. So I taped the Cinderella show. And then on the same video cassette, after the first half hour, the half hour of that was Bobcat's special that I taped off of HBO. And it somehow fit together perfectly. DLR Vegas residency in the news. Oh, fuck. I hope so. That'd be awesome. I'm in Vegas as we speak. I live here. I live here and LA. So I'm back and forth all the time. I do shows here too. So, yes, thank you, Mark Dillon. Somebody saved me. They did. Somebody saved me. which was their first single. And because they were produced by Bon Jovi, quote unquote produced by Bon Jovi, he was in that video, but then they stopped airing it basically because Shake Me took off, and then Nobody's Fool. Those were the two big hits off that.
Mm-hmm.
Bon Jovi helped Skid Row. That makes sense.
By the way, a Nerd Halen Vegas residency would be
for it. We're working on that. Yeah.
Let's do
Sounds good.
That would be fun.
Speaking of Chicago, our friend R2R3 Locking Nut asked, Hal, do you have a personal trainer? And also, how are you liking Chicago?
I do not have a personal trainer, and that's why I'm in shape. Yeah. I think that the key is to get to the point where you can motivate yourself instead of having somebody like, I got to pay somebody to yell at me. That's just how I roll. Some people need it. But I started this Project 50 thing. If you follow me on Instagram, I've been posting about it because I'm shaming myself into getting into shape by posting pictures of me shirtless. So I can't slide backwards, that kind of thing. Like I've found that's the leverage I needed on myself to actually get it together. And so I do intermittent fasting. I eat once a day and I work out 3 times a week for about an hour, and that's it. And it works.
Hold on. Breakfast is the most overrated.
Yeah. Breakfast is dead. Forget it. Blow off breakfast entirely. That if you'll notice, you can track when America started getting fat directly to when you started hearing the phrase breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Think back to when that was, and then track like the obesity epidemic in the United States. It goes directly in line with that. Absolutely. So,
and when they switched all the sugar to corn syrup.
That helped immensely, but it wasn't as crucial. There's a lot of other garbage in your food too, but you just eat single source ingredients and you're pretty much okay. Shauna says she never eats breakfast. I think that's wise, but then don't have any calories. That's the trick. If you have like sugary coffee, you might as well be having breakfast as far as your insulin response. We can get into a whole thing if you want to, but I'm big on intermittent fasting, no calories outside of during a 16-hour window, only eat during an 8-hour window. It's a good way to start. I took that, squoze it to 6, then to 90 minutes. So most of my meals happen.
Damn, you only eat for 90 minutes in one day?
That's all my food. Yeah.
Holy crap.
And you can look on my Instagram and it works. Like all my body fat's like stripped away. I've got the necessary body fat to be healthy, but I'm not, but like my midsection isn't fat. Basically it gets rid of your belly fat. And
it's pretty ridiculous. I have to up my game, at least in the arm department for sure. So.
Yeah, I have a like a right-wing troll that messes with me all the time on Twitter or whatever. And it was so funny since I started doing this, he all of his like slams are like, is your shirt tight enough? And I'm like, I noticed you went from calling me weak and stupid and and misinformed to I'm looking at your body right now and how do you do that? like it's what he's really, and I'm like, dude, just drop your hate and talk to me as a man. I think we'll be all right. I could help you out. But he totally that was the thing. But it's been night and day, literally. And I only work out, like I said, 3 days a week for a little over an hour. That's it. And I'm like, because it has to be something you can always do. If you need a friggin' trainer in 4 days a week and you have to go in the morning and the night and you got to get a Peloton and then like, it's just, nobody does that. Nobody will do it for very long. You always just, you always will. That's why everybody dies off mid-January. Of course, it's just absurd. So I was like, what system can I come up with that's totally my own? So it's personal and I can do it myself instead of a diet, like a culture of eating. And what can I do that's normal to my life? And anybody can get to the gym or work out in their home for an hour, 3 days a week. Like that's not a huge amount of time. And I'm like, as long as it gets me to my goal of basically superhero body by September, which I'm getting pretty close.
That's why you didn't want that medium Nerd Halen shirt that Caleb.
That's right. Yeah. Unless I'm going to tear it off like, right. But yeah, it's been a goal of mine, and with all the like the superhero movies, what pissed me off? What made me really start it? If I want to launch some news here, what made me do it was all this bullshit about everybody's celebrity trainer and what'd you do to get ready for the superhero role stuff that I've been seeing for the last 10 years.
Steroids.
Well, some of them, yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, at least TRT, especially the older dudes. But all this, like, yeah, it was tough, and 9 pounds of chicken a day, and I get up at 6, and I'm like, well, then that's worthless. Like, I can't live like that. Nobody can. And to be honest, these guys get picked up in a limo, taken to the gym twice a day. If they drop below a certain body fat ratio, they're in danger of losing the role. Like, that's a sort of kind of pressure that isn't realistic to life. So I was like, all right, what would it take to get in that kind of shape, but be a human, like where you actually had a life, you know what I mean? And you could do it yourself. So I was like, all right, I'm going to drive this. I'm going to make something that works. Whatever works, I'll dial it in. And so I started dialing it in right as I was turning 49. And then I basically launched it on my 49th birthday as Project 50. And like, I'm at what, 10.2, body fat. And I've gained 7 pounds and lost 2 pant sizes off my waist. And like,
you just keep taking pants off. Take them.
Yeah, right. Well, that's Caleb's. That's what Caleb's trying to get me to do. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Well, he wants us to get to the tights on stage, like the DLR. I'm getting some made. I'm doing it.
The red jock over the spandex.
Dude, again, this goes towards like you're going to be in a cover band. You're going to play David Lee Roth effectively, even though we're doing the nerd version of it. The idea of this, the kind of joke behind us is that we as nerds did the math, and the best way for us to finally get laid is to, statistically speaking, form a Van Halen cover band. That is our best chance for actually getting laid at our current age and availability of what's around us. So that's where these guys that are in the band came up with the idea of doing this. But over the course of the show, this sort of sex appeal of this song kind of takes over, and we're less nerdy as the show goes on, is the idea. I open my shirt and I kind of get all, turn into Dave, because if I don't, it wouldn't work, is the idea, is the joke. So you can't start that and then open your shirt and like, you know what I mean? Like, Dave as a physical entity, especially during, the heyday of Van Halen, and even now, just as a dude, he's in good shape for a guy his age by far. But like, god damn, that guy was in great shape, back then. Yep. So you can't go like, I'm gonna throw up on my shirt and be, this nerdy dude deciding he's Van Halen. The only way to do it is you have to be morbidly obese and doing kind of like a an over the top, what's the blitz on his name, the comic who does Bert Kreischer, who does all of he's shirtless and fat, and that's his gag. Like, he takes his shirt off, and he's like the drunk dude who takes his shirt off at the party. That's that's his brand, I guess, is what it is. Good dude. But unless you're that, you can't be somewhere in the middle. And I'm sure when you're talking about like those cover bands you saw, is there anything more depressing than a cover band that looks like the age of the band already? Like, to some degree, like, if I wanted to see 4 out of shape guys playing, I don't know, pick whatever band, you could go see those guys. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But if there's a cover band doing an era to some degree, you're like, at least be healthy, or if they were a mess, if you're a Skinner cover band, come out looking like you got a beer gut, cool. But if you're coming out being David, and you're doing all the stuff, and you don't look, it's either got to be way over in the comedic needle, or you have to look. I was like, I got to get in shape. Like, I got to get in David Lee Roth circa jump shape.
Well, no, I mean, we see a lot of cover bands around here, and either if you have a gimmick, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you're going for the cover band from a certain era, like we see this Appetite for Destruction, obviously a Guns N' Roses tribute band. We've seen them like 3 or 4 times already.
Right.
Cool to see them look like the band members from
the era,
80s, like that.
Yes.
It's cool to see them dressed the part. Even if you have to wear a wig, that's great.
Right.
But no,
But if they came out looking like Axl in his kind of Kathleen Turner phase. Yeah, right. If you know what I mean, if he was like huffing and or like you see a Motley Crue cover band and they look like actual Vince currently, it's not what you went there to see. And again, go see the actual band. But if you're going like, I want to feel like I was pulled back into that time to some degree.
Yeah.
And like somebody said, I've seen a lot of fat guys trying to be Angus. My buddy Johnny Million, who's on my radio show, he's my co-host. We were in a band in high school together. I've known him for a long time. Amazing player, big Brian May fan, all of our lives, whatever. And I always figured he would end up in a Queen cover band, but it's hard to find other guys who can nail that. It's heavy lifting, right? So he ended up in an AC/DC cover band, and Johnny is 6'4". Like he's got like those like his fingers are like Steve Vai's. They look like those face hugger from Alien legs.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen his fucking fingers? They're like
they're humongous. They're really long.
Yeah. And it's like it's like you'd be a great piano player if you never want to be anywhere near a piano.
If you go to the phone house and there's that mirror and you hold your hand up, it's like, dude, look, my fingers
like Steve Vai.
long.
Yeah, right. That's what Johnny's fingers look like. And he's in this AC/DC cover band and they do great. They have a great time with it. But he's, and he's in the school outfit or whatever. But I think he's wearing just regular adult clothes. They just look so small on him that it looks like short pants. Right.
Real quick, because it's bedtime for certain people. Apparently my son, Shen, is watching. I just wanted to say hi, Shen.
Oh, look at that.
And I love you.
Aw.
And
Aren't you in the room?
Hi, Shen.
No, I'm actually I'm doing the show from my folks' house because
because they have better internet. And
because my apartment's too small and it would have been crazy.
There's something about doing internet shows from your parents' house that just shows a level of maturity.
I'm in the room I grew up in playing guitar, so it's kind of cool. So
always playing guitar, huh? I bet you did a lot more with it.
We won't go there, Jay. Anyway, if these walls could, never mind.
Dude, there's a dog behind you. Dude, there's a dog. Dude, there was a dog. I just saw a dog. Dude, look out.
Well, anyway, I love you, Shen. Go take a bath and go to bed. I love you.
Yeah. Pale out. Night, Caleb, son. I wasn't sure how to spell your name. Sorry. There you go. Love to see Hal versus John McCute on the show. That would be hilarious. We'll make that happen at some point. I guess John got
that'd be awesome
on this. We'll make it happen.
It can only be
no, because Caleb's son would drop in if Caleb's on the show. So I understand why they might have wanted to put you in the soundproof booth. Was it like in mud wrestling? What like in a mud wrestling pit in bikinis? You wish. If I had a nickel for every time I've gotten that request, I'd have 37 cents. Your theory is 100% flawed. The way you eat and train is automatic chance of heart attack, buddy. Sorry, you don't eat enough to have your organs not struggle. You're an idiot, blank palate, and you don't know what you're talking about. But thanks for trying to help me.
It's obviously affecting Hal's energy level.
Yeah, right.
His diet. Because he's just so slow and doesn't seem with it. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm not a big like nutrition buff because I eat like a 5-year-old, but I did notice that when I started the intermittent fasting, as far as like I don't eat after like 3 to 4 hours after I wake up.
Yeah.
And I do notice that like cravings for garbage food, it decreased like tenfold.
Yeah, it's great. And here's the thing. I do this system, but I do it 5 days a week, strict. And then on the weekends, I loosen up to regular intermittent fasting, like 8-hour windows, if I choose to or feel the need to. And so I'll have brunch with my girlfriend and I'll make breakfast for everybody and all that kind of stuff. I'm not a Nazi about it, so I'm not going to wipe myself out. And secondarily, the benefits of it actually are better the more prolonged you go. Like the 20-hour fasting has got a tremendous amount of benefit. So anyways, you're talking out your ass and go pound sand. So
fan of the show. Okay.
Well, go back to being a fan of the show and not a critic of my diet. Cause this is, I'm only giving the cliff notes of it anyways. So there's a lot more to it than that. Yeah. Thank you, Krell Bar, for having my back.
Yeah. Everything needs to be like a fan of the show afterwards.
First time, long time.
First time, long time. Fan of the show.
Mm-hmm. My pants are getting way tighter. Most people, that happens to them when I'm around and talking a lot. You do Bulletproof Coffee. I don't. You know, I've had it on occasion because Bulletproof Coffee has their flagship places in Venice, in LA. So I will go there with a buddy of mine, and I like it or whatever. But it's not something I do regularly. I would rather just do straight cold brew, that kind of stuff. We lost him. Is it because of the dog?
Oh
Does
yeah,
the dog lick your strings?
He has to go out real quick.
Oh,
yeah.
He does. I see. Yeah.
No, this is a regular thing on the show.
Yeah. If you have,
how he
if
takes
you have
precedent.
dysentery, you can just tell us. Al just must have upset someone because we have a thumbs down. Yeah. That was it.
Yeah, we never get thumbs downs on this show.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing though. The great thing about, how Google handles this stuff and YouTube is it doesn't matter. Thumbs ups and thumbs down are considered engagement. So even thumbs down help your channel. How effed is that?
Everybody thumbs down.
When
It's
Netflix
true.
got the thumbs up and thumbs down system for that weirdo, what the hell is her name?
I don't know.
The blonde chick that looks like a pig. What is her name?
Oh,
Her
that's a long list. Miss Piggy.
That comedian. What's her name?
Damn it, Schumer.
Yes, Amy Schumer. God, that ended that whole thing. Ruined that.
Real quick question. Evo ate ya. That's a good name, by the way. Evo ate ya. What's my favorite solo to play from the current set?
Let's hear it.
I'm gonna have to say.
Yeah. Play us something. We lost him. Oh, there he is. Okay.
No, I think the Hot for Teacher solo is probably the most fun, although the most challenging.
Play it and tell us why. Play a couple pieces and show us and ask us why.
It's so easy to get out of time with that solo if you're trying to play it straight to the record, which I'm trying to do.
Well, that's because the record's out of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Yeah,
hard. It's
I mean,
hard to land on that spot where it starts to.
Yeah, there you go.
It's not an easy one to play with the drums thundering along the way they are doing.
Right. Yeah, it's weird. And R2R3 says he's got a dude with multiple accounts always thumbs downing his videos. Thank you. You're like, yeah, exactly. Don't worry about it. It's engagement. It doesn't matter. That's the great thing about what trolls don't understand about YouTube is let them eat up a bunch of, throw down in your comments section, because ultimately it just it boosts you in YouTube's search algorithm. It's hilarious. Good
to know.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna give it the thumbs down then.
That's why the dude Vegetable Police. He used to be a vegan and now he's a carnivore. He does like at the end of his videos, I think he always does give it a thumbs up if you like the video, give it a thumbs down if you eat pineapples while sitting on the toilet and you hate your mom and a gerbil once crawled into the head of your penis. Whatever, like he'll run and so anybody who gave the thumbs down is admitting to whatever that thing was. So there you go.
That's good. That's a good one.
Well, yeah. John Mancuda says he gets a thumb up his ass on his episodes.
Nice.
Yeah, but he does it alone. Oh, I see. Remind me not to shake hands with him.
Yeah.
Richard Gere out of the cat. Oh my God. Talk about an oldie but a goodie. Wow.
Remember that one. Wow.
Yeah. Thumbs down should follow with a mandatory comment. I agree. Like, why? What's your deal? Well, the problem is the ones that do leave those that thumbs down and have a comment, most of their stuff, you're missing a lot of S's and apostrophes, misspelling your a lot. And you're like, you dumb shit and guitar not good. you know, and you're like, okay, gee, I lost another valuable member of my audience.
Oh, geez, that's funny.
Have you guys watched Josh Jones? That is incredible. Stop selling us stuff, Evo 8. Oh, thank you, Mr. BHBRGR. I'm glad you subscribed. Thank you. Yes, I have a YouTube channel as well. Go to infotainmentwars.com and that will send you directly there. Fuck Alex Jones.
Wars myself.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not kidding. I bought Infotainment Wars because we were doing a bit on my show for a while called Alex Jones, where I was just like, I got the documents, you know, whatever nonsense stuff like that. And so, so I decided to buy all that. I bought Alex Jones and bought Infotainment Wars, but I just rotated to my stuff. But it will take you here. I'll put the link in a regular link in there. It'll take you there. But yeah. So thanks. Yeah, anybody wants to subscribe over there, you're welcome to. I do a radio show every Saturday. It's you know, liberal politics. You'll have a lot of fun, especially with, you know, if you're a troll. But yeah, so we do that every week, and then I do a bunch of stuff and blah blah blah. This is the fun part though. So we're working on, as far as Nerd Halen, our goal is just like sort of world domination, mostly selling out to corporations and getting paid to do, you know, like play Bohemian Grove and the G6 Summit, you know, and in, you know, in front of a room full of people with masks on. Entertain us, normal mortal, before we consume the babies. You know, whatever. As long as the check clears.
Yes, that's the goal.
Oh, thank you guys. The people who are subbing, I appreciate that. That's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, the Bilderberg.
Yeah, we're playing the Bilderbergs. Yeah, the hotel. We want to be the house act at the Bilderberg Hotel. Oh, that would be so good.
No, yeah. Obviously, we'd love to get paid, but you know.
Oh, we will. We're gonna get paid.
I want to tour. I'm
lucky I like you, Caleb, because I'm not in this because I like you.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, I want to tour. I want to meet everybody that I've met through this show and on the EVH stuff. I want them to like become real to me.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
You know, it's funny because we did our basic launch gig at the Federal just to get it on its legs and start finding our, you know, our space in this. And it's pretty great because we immediately, I could tell this was worth doing because we had a couple dudes show up LARPing us. They were already dressed in nerd regalia. They came dressed in short white short sleeve shirts with ties and glasses.
And we didn't ask anybody to do that.
We didn't ask them to do it. They just saw it on Facebook. Didn't know I was in the band. Like one of the dudes was like, dude, I'm such a dude wearing my car fan. Like he was hammered at the end of the night. But he was like, I just saw this. I'm in town working and none of the people from my job wanted to go do something. I was like, I need to do something. So I came out and you guys were so cool. So cool. You guys were so cool. And you were man. And you were so cool. And I was like, I'm glad you're here, man. Get an Uber home. I just don't want you to die. You're our first fan. And but he came in wearing a dressed for it. Like he saw the poster and decided I'm going to dress up. It was great. And that's so awesome. If you guys, any of you guys who are in the chat room and or who see this at a later date and stumble upon this because of linkage and whatnot, and we're playing near you, you guys LARP for us. Show up, get some nerd glasses, put some tape on the center, or we'll sell you some when we get there. I think Caleb wants to sell nerd glasses. I don't want to ruin that business for you. Yeah, we'll just bring a white shirt with with one pocket and a black tie or whatever, and we'll sell you the rest. Protectors. We'll make some Nerd Halen protectors, man. Yeah, we'll sell some Nerd Halen pocket protectors. I think that's wise. And and glasses, but show up, dress up like that. It's really fun because it's ridiculous.
Oh, you know how the bands do the picture with the fans behind them? From the stage.
That's the goal.
My dream is to have everyone behind us with nerd
Evo
glasses on.
says, "Are you coming to Cleveland?" That is absolutely within the realm of possibility.
Hello,
I have a lot of family in Cleveland, and so they'll insist. And I do a lot of stand up there. I've done stand up there a bunch, so it could be one of those things where we could do a one nighter at the comedy club there. They got a decent sized stage that could work. We'll figure it out. Thank you for the Zoltan. Wow.
Zoltan,
everybody.
Zoltar's
Right.
man.
Yeah. People forget I was in Dude Where's My Car until they have a flashback. Like, bro, away. I know any high dudes have suddenly like stumbled on me and just felt like they've fallen into Dude Where's My Car. Like nothing better than a dude who's just wigging out high, like in the paranoid phase, turning a corner, seeing my face and going, oh shit, I gotta stop.
Jason McNamara, I want to go to Tokyo so bad just so you can take me around to all the
I think we need
Just
to
take him around to all of the panty the used
the vending machines that sell used schoolgirl underwear.
Oh
Shoot
my
me now.
God, really?
Yeah, really.
I just was talking about the food. Okay.
No, that's what
I just want to play Kobo at some point in my life. I think that's the goal of any rock fan. You know, Kobo used to be the venue, man. There's like so many classic shows that were filmed at Kobo. So yeah.
Budokan. Let's play Budokan.
Yeah, Budokan.
Nerd Halen plays Budokan.
Yeah, I'm for it. It's not that big, actually. The Budokan is not like you think of it in terms of like Madison Square Garden, because that's, you know.
No, it's not.
It's not, which is it's doable. Let's get 100. Yeah. The Nightbot says, let's get 100 thumbs up on this video. Leave a thumbs up. And he doesn't realize we've already told everybody to thumb it down.
I better tell him.
Good luck with that. Like, thanks, Jason.
He's already cleaned them out. He's already emptied all the vending machines.
Yeah, right. Budokan holds around 10,000. All right, we can get it half full. I'm fine with that. Yeah. Our shops in Japan are killer. That I don't doubt.
Yeah, we've heard stories.
I caught this on my break. Can't wait to see the replay. Well, thanks, old metal dude. We appreciate you. Hey, old metal dude. What's your favorite metal record? I need to know.
Old metal dude.
Yeah. Can we agree that Scotty Hill from Skid Row is the shit? Loudest ballad guitar solo in history in I Remember You, and yet still wholly appropriate.
So, Hal, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Out of the songs that you guys are playing right now, which one is the most challenging?
Oh.
Right now.
Yeah, right now. I mean, any of the Hagar stuff, if we've been doing a bunch of David songs, you know, it's such a gear shift vocally. It's like you could do a whole show as Sammy and you could do a whole show as Dave. It would be way easier.
Well, once you have to switch and
yeah, it's just a different style effectively, you know. But yeah, you know what's funny is Unchained is my favorite song we're playing right now because it was one of the outlier songs that, like in the Van Halen repertoire, was just not one of those that rose to the level of my awareness that often. It's a classic, obviously, but like, you know, I guess it had been swamped over the years by Running with the Devil and Jump and, you know, any number of, you know, even Everybody Wants Some, which was in, was it Better Off Dead or One Crazy Summer?
Better Off Dead.
Better Off Dead, yeah. You know, so those songs obviously just like kind of buried it. And I knew the riff, and I think when I was in high school, I thought it was Unchanged. So I maybe looked it up once and couldn't find it. Now, you know,
maybe that was Van Halen.
Now the internet, you know, you're like, did you mean Unchained? You know, like, but no, just you, John. So, but for that one, for whatever reason, like that one, I was like, okay, we should do that one. Sure. When we initially started talking about it, and now I crave it when we're gonna do it. It's just so like that riff. Starting it off is just so solid. It's just, and the way it holds together and the way the verses are different and laid back from the main riff itself. Yeah, it's just so fun. That's why I asked Caleb to come up and do it with us, because they were like, we'd just done that show, and my band, and 01 was like, the other guys were like, we should do a Van Halen song then, since you're doing a bunch of these. Which one? Because they, like, since I know so many of them now, and then they're like, I was like, I want to do Unchained then, but we should have Caleb come up and join us. And then I almost broke his fingers with my weird big strings. So,
well, that opening riff to that song, I mean, if you get any heavier than that, it's heavy metal. Like, that is the heaviest
totally
heavy metal riff ever.
Written on piano.
Oh yeah,
on piano.
Yeah, on piano it probably sounds like a Tori Amos song.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of like slight pinch where he's moving his thumb down. I think his pick hand down a little bit. When he's chugging the E string.
Yeah, he's using a flanger actually.
Yeah, there's like this kind of like just descending tone to that riff. It just makes it fantastic. And Old Metal Dude says Entombed Left-Handed Path. So we now know he's friggin' serious, which is great. Thank you, Old Metal Dude.
Caleb.
Yes.
I heard that was maybe a combination of the flanger and the harmonics.
Oh, really?
Up the string.
Okay.
It's possible.
Well, that combination sound is going to give you a lot of.
Here's a good question for people that might. It sounds like he keeps the flanger on the whole time, but I'm convinced. I mean, I only use it for the chugging parts. I'll click it on. And
I don't know that that's true. I don't know if
there's something when the drums kick in, you can hear there's something affecting that guitar, whether it's a phaser or something. But
he might have just had a dialed back version of it or whatever. Knowing Eddie probably took his phaser, his Phase 90 apart, ran it through a volume pedal, and so he could vary the amount of phaser during.
Yeah, no, it's strange because parts of it sound like it's on the whole time in the beginning, but.
I think leading up to the smart money when you're playing live is to do it at the beginning riff, and then when the band kicks in, take it off to lock in with everybody a little bit better as the rest of the sound goes. So that's probably, at least in rehearsals or in writing, that's where it came in. And then in the album, like God knows, obviously they're doing a lot less punch in. There probably was some on that record that he could count on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Sammy in the chat says he kicks it on and off, which I'm sure is true, but like he thinks, I think Caleb's saying it might be even mid riff at certain points.
Yeah, no, I know he kicks it on off now, but on the record, it's weird. There's part of it sounds like it's still on, but at a weaker level. But
I have the what do you call it?
The lone track,
the video game version. Yeah, I've got the guitar by itself where you can totally hear everything.
Right.
Yeah. And what does it sound like? He's kicking it off.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I haven't heard it.
You got to go back. Well, that's the thing. Your assignment, if you choose to accept it, is to go and find out and let us know. Report back.
We'll have to listen together. We'll have to do a private.
Like the isolated vocal tracks. Like I didn't know until those leaked out. Or, that he was. God damn it, baby! I'm only gonna tell you one time. I'm like, God damn it, baby! I'm only gonna tell you one time. And I'm like, oh, good, okay. Now I know what the fuck that is.
Right.
What's he saying? So, love you. Hi.
Get on camera.
Huh? Oh, yeah,
Cool.
babe. Do you want to? She might not want to right now. I think.
It doesn't matter. It's too late. You talk. You have to get on camera.
Babe, you want to say hi?
Say hi to the EVH.
See, this is the Nerd Halen's primary PR company. Get out of the way. I'm gonna. If you're doing something, she may drop in, but give her a second. I might have to give you guys picks so I get mentioned in every show from now on. I think that's the trick. Whatever. I know. I mean, yeah. So.
All right.
Hello there.
Yeah. She's wearing a she's wearing a Neil Diamond shirt, which we actually got at the Neil Diamond show. My son, who's 8, his first concert was Neil Diamond. Yeah,
That's cool.
Neil Diamond Dave.
Yeah, Neil Diamond Dave. Yeah, there's a thin line. Like he walks around in shirts that are inappropriate for him at his age as well. So I think, and he's deaf as a post. So hi, love you.
Sorry.
Oh,
No, that's right. No, we're in good.
Thumbnail.
It's a good time. Thumbnail, right? Right. Isolated guitar tracks are everywhere on YouTube. There are like 50 plus videos. I don't doubt it. And you guys have the links to all of them. Neil Diamond Dave.
I've got the real ones.
It's,
Like the best sounding ones. I got them years ago. Remember
How
that
do they
day?
sound? How do they sound? I don't remember. Yeah, they sound great. Yeah, I remember that.
I don't remember.
Yeah. You know, the odd part about like Neil Diamond is he's obviously got such a classic kind of sounding voice, but it is so specific and kind of well used within certain boundaries. I would say a lot of golden voices are like that. When he veers outside of it, you're like, no, don't, you know. And he did a Christmas record. You ever see the Christmas special? You know, jingle bells, jingle bells. He just tries to like jazz it up or something, like dashing through the snow in a horse open. Like, what are you doing?
Gosh.
I love Neil Diamond. I had a quiet song. Like there was a point, like most of the audience was blue hairs. So I take my son because Neil's daughter's kids were fans of Lab Rats, my Disney show, and they reached out like, hey, can we bring our kids to set? And I was like, absolutely, glad to do it. And they brought him as a guest. And so in reciprocation, she was like, would you like to go see my dad play live? He's doing the Hollywood Bowl. And I was like, of course. To wipe out the memory of Cosby doing the Playboy Jazz Festival and rebirth the entire Hollywood Bowl for me. Sure. And and so we go and we had decent seats. And so we're sitting fairly close. And he's deaf as a post, like I said, but they've got little mics on the audience so he can hear a little bit, you know, pumped into his in-ears. And I was like, Cam, wait until I tell you, but I want you to yell "Hi, Neil" as loud as you can. And there was this weirdly, like he did a ballad or something, and then they just went quiet for a second. And it was all these old people were just kind of like sipping wine, and it was super quiet. And I was like, now. And he was like, "Hi, Neil." And whatever reason, these mics were pumped through the place too to make the front audience fill the back of the place. And it was the loudest my son had ever heard his voice in his life. And he was like, "I'm a god. I'm a god," which, you know, is exactly the ego I want him to have. So it was a perfect moment.
My wife just texted me. We were at that show.
Yeah. Oh, you were?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah. She
We're all
loves Neil
5
Diamond.
degrees away from Bill Cosby. We need to move. Bill Cosby came and went in the night.
Right on.
That's the night that the pudding pops knock me out. What? All right, anyways.
wow.
Hey, thanks for having us on.
Drowsy. What? All right.
Of course, man.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Glad we could do this.
Yeah, it's important. Thank you guys.
Nerd Halen kind of was born on this show. So
Yeah.
We've actually seen we've been through all the steps with Caleb.
That's great. Well,
Over
now we've officially launched, and I look forward to you guys going, how come you guys don't talk to us anymore? Or why won't you? I want you guys. I can't wait till we hit the point where Caleb isn't returning your calls. I think that's what Caleb wants, and I'm glad I'm here to help him.
Well,
never gonna happen.
Did you say how Nerd Halen was kind of born, whatever, with this show, kind of whatever?
Mm-hmm.
You know what's funny? Remember we used to have Steve Anderson on all the time?
Yeah.
And he would always ask you, Caleb, what's the latest with Nerd Halen?
Yep.
And it would always be, oh, this happened and this guy flaked out. The second Steve Anderson stops coming on the show,
Mhm.
Nerd Halen takes off.
Right. So obviously, Steve is the bane of our existence.
Yeah.
And if we see him at a show, we have to have him removed.
No. Well,
Steve, if you're watching, stay away from us.
Steve's great. Steve's great. He keeps texting me. He keeps texting me. You have to open the show with an 11-minute version of Intruder.
And that's the kind of advice that sunk Nerd Halen.
And he's serious.
He's serious. He's as serious as a heart attack with that.
Yeah. No, but he's great. Like, he would ask me that, like, what's going on with Nerd Halen? And he just asked me the week before. And basically nothing has gone on with Nerd Halen in that week of time. So I would have to just laugh it off and go, well, we're,
I don't know,
we're
up with Buford, Wakeman, and Hal.
You know? No, but it was tough because I got a lot of people excited about it before it was even happening.
Well, that's what part of this whole thing has been, and Caleb will attest to this, me reining him in. So there is at least some level of build up and actual execution. Because he's like, can I post everything? Let's put our rehearsals online. Let's put all of our rehearsals online, all of them, just live stream.
All four of them. All four of our rehearsals online.
Like, dude, hold on. Simmer.
Hold your wad there, buddy.
Yeah, right. And it's nice to, I have to say, it's really invigorating to work with Caleb because of his love for this and his desire to do it. It really is inspiring in that regard, even though I do have to rein him in sometimes. That's the beauty of it. That's what makes this such a joy to do. And when we do the jam nights, if somebody varies off of the song that's being done, I don't dress them down as their thing. We're all different musicians. They throw everybody together last minute. It's a jam. I understand that. But if you're going to go up there and we're doing the record version, do the record version. Don't mess around, There's a great cut to Jade yawning and drinking water, like right in the middle. Great story, bro. Dude, that's fog juice. Don't, is there an X on the top of that?
I'm glad it wasn't me drinking. Jeez.
My
I'm gonna charge you. I'm gonna send you a bill for a new keyboard when I
tell me to go fuck myself. Pretty much.
So, yeah. But yeah, like when we get up there and somebody just kind of like varies off of it, and like, yeah, the solo doesn't really matter. I'll just do whatever, or I'll just thump the A on this and like, no, learn the part, man, because it's not about us. It's about the people who are standing in front of us. You know what I mean? As long as you do a show from the point of view of the audience that got here deserves the show they came to see. And if they came to see you fuck up a bunch of stuff, that's different. But if they came to see you Nerd Halen, then they better be dead on. You know what I mean? And you owe it to them. And so I'm really happy the fact that, like, when he started presenting this, I was like, okay, but the songs have to be locked. They gotta sound like the record. And as long as we were, he was on board to do that. And then, of course, like Victor and Jeff are just pros, man. Jeff is a friggin' machine. He's amazing. He can play anything. So,
Jeff is also, he's a Van Halen specialist. So
yeah,
like he's in 3 or 4 different Van Halen bands around town here. And when I first talked to him, he was like, $100 and I'll be there, and
right.
And I don't like to play a lot of Van Halen all the time because I like to keep it. I like to keep my love for it, is what he told me. Like I don't want to ruin it.
Right.
And I totally get that because
well, and that's why you make it a joy to do it, because we're joking around on stage and we're being ourselves, and these little characters we get to be kind of takes that weight off of it. Like,
right.
Nobody's trying to be a badass, and I mean, it happens accidentally because I'm there, but most of the time, like, we just ease into it. But the idea is you got to come in with it like you're there to have a lot of fun, and those songs are fun, and that era is fun, and the feeling is fun. And if any of that dries up, then I think we're all out. But for me, that was the goal. And the minute he was like dedicated to making it sound right. Like even I'll Wait, when I brought up I'll Wait, he was like, I never thought about doing that song necessarily or whatever. And then he sent me a video of him learning the solo, nailing it. And I was like, I feel great about this. I feel like this will be a joy to watch and good for Van Halen fans. Because I would hate, the worst thing would be is that somebody would come and see this who's a Van Halen fan and think that we're A, mocking the band, which we wouldn't do, and that we didn't try to make it honest to the music. If they walk away with both of those things going, these guys love like the Nerd Halen guys love Van Halen maybe more than I do, enough to deliver these songs the way they should be sung, then you know, that's the goal. Yeah.
Well, the goal for me was the nerd thing would bring the expectation way down. And then we would play.
I don't know. I think it brings it up, man, because I think there's an element of like, you think of nerds as characters that way, but I think of like the guys who are on this show, like Dave and Jay and Johnny, like nerding out about Van Halen. You know what I mean?
I agree. I go see a tribute band.
Yeah.
And they don't dress exactly like the band. You better nail everything, because sometimes you look at the band like, all right, you know what? They look the part. You can give them a little bit of slack, but if you're not looking like that and you have a gimmick, you better nail it.
Right, but we're looking the way we do, so I think people go, okay, what are these guys going to do? Ha ha ha!
And then when you do nail it,
and then we do what we do, and then it's like I think it's more of a payoff for
exactly. Them. I think I will say though that judging from how people reacted when they showed up, kind of sight unseen to the show, that they were surprised it was as good as it was as far as sonically. But I don't think they were surprised that we were able to do it or that we were intending to do it. I think more that like, oh, you actually pulled it off. But they never got the feeling that we were going to go out there and punk our way through stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like just half-ass it. And I think the nerd aspect, what that word carries, is the attention to detail aspect of it.
Yeah.
That I think is the standard that we will be dealing with as we play this band. And there's going to be a bunch of Van Halen fans are going to show up, you know, arms crossed. That's not exactly who will be nerding out worse than us, you know.
Johnny and Dave. Caleb, you missed that note. You missed the note.
Yeah. I don't do, you know what? The funny thing is, I don't do that.
A stock Kraber. That is not what he played. The
That's fun.
Inappropriate.
Like just pointing at no. Just like
I can tell those are 10s. Eddie always played 9s.
Well, see, that's what I nerd about. I nerd out about the gear, not about necessarily the way the band sounds, because I mean there is really only one Van Halen. And
well, technically there's 3, but yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, as the band, I mean, there's
actually 2 Van Halens in the band.
Very true.
But yeah, I get
3.
3. Yeah.
3 of them.
Oh yeah, 3 now. Now there's 3. Oh my God, 3 times 3 is 6. 3 6s is. Oh my God.
Wars.com.
3 6s.
Right on track, Donald Davenport says study their science. Yes.
And I have the chat box on my monitor above my main monitor. And then I have the pop-out chat down here.
Sure.
It's exactly the same. I'm looking at both of them. I'm checking that one. I'm checking this one.
Okay. And see, here I just thought you had water on the brain and you were just kind of distracted easily. You're getting lazy-eyed. Is it possible to have 2 lazy eyes at once?
Oh my God.
One eye looking at you, the other one looking for you.
Yeah, right.
Well, I want this band to travel just to
play the intro to Mean Street. We got a request from Evo 8. Yeah.
Please, there's one guy on this thing that can do that, and it's not me. So,
oh yeah?
But go ahead.
God, it's been so long since I played that.
Go ahead, man. Check this out, Hal. Check this guy out. This
You guys talk. Let me plug in.
He's got to plug in. He's got it. Yeah.
No. Dude.
And put on your nerd glasses too, Jay.
Right.
Yeah, it's impossible. I can't do it. But someone can, and I think he does it as good as anybody I've seen.
I have to say, they sounded amazing on that Italian television show.
Yes.
Probably the best they've ever sounded live.
So true to record. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was. It was mind blowing. You know what I mean? Idea just popped in my head. Everyone in 2 front rows wears David Nesdahl mask and stand with arms crossed like tilted with Archie Bunker look.
That would be brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh,
you can come dressed as your favorite member of this cast.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. come as David. You know, you have to change guitars every 5 minutes, and you have to have headphones on.
Right. They'll be bearded and shaved Johnny Beans. It would be great.
Right? Yeah. You have to have a dog with you, which, you know, it has to be
how you can bring your Dalmatian.
A stressed dog, or it can't get in there. And
that would be so unbelievably nerdy.
Of course, to dress as Jay, you'd have to carry around a perspective-sized cardboard box of his house, but put behind you in such a way that it looks like he's really sitting in the room, kind of like just a 3D trick.
Yes.
Every time I try to play Mean Street, it sounds like Lame Avenue. Bang. You guys play the intro instrumental to Pretty Woman. I love that so much. We haven't done Pretty Woman yet.
I want to do Pretty Woman. But.
Yes, but absolutely. I think that's necessary. Dance the Night Away is a good live video. I agree. And we did a solid job of Dance the Night Away. That was also one where I didn't really know the verse lyrics to that song. That was oh yeah, that's what they're singing? Shit. You know? Come to Edmonton, it's the Rocktown, Alberta. There you go. Indeed. Thank you, Thrash Metal. And fun riffs. Yeah. Sorry, I'm competing with Nightbot.
You will lose.
Patreon.com/Hal Sparks that supports my radio show and my YouTube videos. How you doing? And make sure that I have plenty of ESP EC500 guitars to play when we go on tour.
Wait, I gotta switch another guitar.
Kramer. Yeah, I am actually shopping now for Kramer for when we do the Eddie, the Eddie and Sammy songs where Sammy's playing. I will be playing
one song.
Well, eventually. Yeah,
that one.
He played on a couple of songs live, and that.
Yeah, but Eddie was playing keyboard. So
yes, but that's what I'm saying. Even in those situations,
so I'll go stand up behind a keyboard. We'll run the track. We'll just run the track, and I'll be a fake keyboard playing while you get to play the solo to "Why Can't This Be Love."
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good.
No, it's the joke is my guitar isn't plugged in, but you're behind the keyboard while tracks are playing, actually playing the guitar hidden. And then the keyboard falls over and people realize you've been playing guitar the whole time and I've been faking it. Sounded too good anyways. Right from the heart. What? This is Daughter and I Love the Disney Show that you were in. Oh, thanks. Hi. How are you? I'm guessing you're almost done with school, but it's still a school night. I don't know if you're in our time zone or what, but bedtime it is. Study your math and science, because even if you don't use it when you're older, by whatever career you choose, it helps your brain grow properly. You'll develop more synapses that way. So study it like they're building blocks for your brain, and learn a foreign language and learn to play an instrument. Your dad's a fan of thrash metal, so he knows people need to be virtuosos on their instrument. That's my advice.
I think a great bit on the show would be that Dave's camera pans left and there's somebody, like his tech is handing him guitars. There's actually a person there handing you a guitar,
right?
Like all in black, just hat backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Put my link in there just where everybody has them.
All right, go ahead, Jay.
Who wanted to hear this? Because I just tried playing it again.
Evo 8, Evo 8, yeah.
Who wanted to hear it?
Yeah, Evo 8, yeah.
Dude, just do the rhythmic part. That's all you need to do.
Well, no, I can't just do that.
No, it's the intro part, the tapping part.
Yeah.
That part?
Yes. Yeah. That's so hard.
Wait, you want to see the Johnson angle?
Okay.
Is that better?
There we go.
Yeah,
Johnson
now move
angle.
back.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
The whole thing.
Right.
Pardon me if I completely botched the hell out of it, but
All right,
That's
present.
the spirit. Just
Here
play the
goes
goddamn thing.
here goes nothing. Damn it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
We're gonna Jay, we're gonna do like a Skype or a FaceTime
Yes.
one of these days, and you're gonna take me through that, and we're gonna
And then you're gonna be able to play it way better than me, and then everyone's gonna ask you to play it on the show and not me.
no.
But that's okay, because
I doubt it. I doubt it.
But it's been a while since I played. It's tough, man. It's the hard
Dude, you
thing is
nailed it.
not
You
having
nailed it.
everything else ring out and keeping everything.
Listen, I don't think Eddie Van Halen himself played it as well as that.
Nope. No, it's very impressive. That always gets me. I love it.
Thank
Sounded
Yeah,
just like
dude.
the record, man.
Right?
Yeah. Great.
Mhm.
Yeah. Stop. I love when guys beat themselves up for being within a hair's breadth of perfection. Like,
Right.
please.
Exactly.
Hey, does Nerd Halen need a second guitar player?
Right. No, Hal's gonna like side chat you and go, so
Yeah,
we can get rid of this Caleb guy.
Glasses like
I'm thinking of farming this out like Spasmatics.
Exactly.
Yeah, the East Coast version.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's right.
me and Dave.
What the fuck am I gonna do?
David Lee Nesdall.
David Lee
I
Nesdall.
can't sing like that. I can,
Yeah. Do the you can do the Canadian version. We'll just send you up there. It'll
fuck
work.
that. I don't want to have anything to do with Canada.
Canada's awesome. You ever been, my lad? Jason will play the keys. Look, we've got somebody there to play the keys. So we have to decide though on your look, Jason, if you're going to play the keys. Are you going to be like mid 80s jump era Eddie or post rehab Eddie or
No, he's gonna do Jan Hammer with the guitar.
Oh yeah.
Because he's played on this show. He's played it on this show with a guitar.
I know the dude who cut the first circuit board for the first guitar.
Awesome.
And he did it at a factory in down south of Torrance, where they make spy satellites. He did it for the band Angel, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, they were working on it. You know, the other people, like, I guess he made them for a bunch of people, and I don't know that Angel was the first to use it, but he cut the circuit board to, you know, literally like with all the lines, not just like taking one and slicing it down, but he literally cut it out and had it printed for the first like carryable. And the cable that came out of it was like, it looked like a garden hose, you know.
What year was that?
75.
Wasn't there a story about how Eddie was at a party when they first recorded You Really Got Me, and he played it at a party, and the band Angel heard it, and they tried to release the song first
They
before
tried
Van
to
Halen?
rush it. Yes.
Oh, tried to release You Really Got Me, or what do you mean? Or you, yeah.
Yeah, they did their own version of it, and they tried to put it out before Van Halen's record came out.
Wow. What a bunch of, that's not very angelic behavior. Yeah, Greg Jafria, mentioned by Al Face or whatever. You know, I'm a big fan of House of Lords, that record. When they came out on Simmons Records, when they first put out that album in the 80s, the House of Lords, that was Greg Jafria's new dusted off Jafria band. It's a solid record, solid outing. It's like right up there with like Giant, the band Giant. Last of the Runaways, I think, whatever that was. Just absolutely professional rock and roll. Pretty much. I'm looking at 8 people like guitars more than guitars. That's true.
Yeah,
That's very funny. That's a buddy of mine. His name is Brian. Very funny guy.
Yeah.
So Crystal Pepsis and guitars. That's the
Yeah, right. Yeah, Zima. Yeah, guitars are the Zima of musical instruments, right? Johnny Beane YouTube is on the phone.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Can't Find My Way Home is a great song, Alface. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we're good. Let's let everyone go about their evening.
What's wrong with you, Caleb? Why do you always do this?
Well, I think this is
always
showing,
ready to pull the ripcord. I'm the one who says leave them wanting more.
right. Well,
Yeah.
I was going to text you.
He's
I was going to
learning.
text
Oh
you
my
that.
God. Oh my God, he's learning.
I was going to text you that. I'm so proud.
I thought this was a 24-hour stream.
Yeah, that's what it is. We're just gonna keep going, folks.
I know.
One person super chat.
Hal, I've seen some of your stuff, man, and you do like 10-hour streams and stuff.
Well, I think 4 is my max.
Mm-hmm.
I do a 2-hour radio show, which is a call-in radio show, regular terrestrial radio out of WCPT radio in Chicago, and that's regular. I run commercial breaks and all that, but then afterwards, because I have to deal with all the tech aspect of dealing with a call-in radio show, like it's hard to get to the chat and really address some of the stuff they've been talking to.
Hey, Hal, first time, long time. What do you think of Van Halen and
Yeah, I don't talk to people who've only called in once. You have to call in, say your name, hang up, and then you can call back next week. But I'll do it, we'll stretch on. It started as like, I'll do a little half-hour post show, just kind of glad hand with everybody. And then that became almost as much of the show as the first one. Islander Winder. I don't know what that is. It was David in Canada. This is turning into one of my streams, Ben Coombs. Oh no, it might be time to go then, guys. We might be, it might. That's a good point, Ben. We might need to dial it down. So I bet you can play the intro to Pretty Woman, Jason McNamara. I don't know. That may be possible.
But yeah, we're good.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys for having us on. We really appreciate it. We will certainly, when we start having gigs with some regularity, we'll drop a hint to you, and Caleb or I will come on and trying to get the word out as we as we start down this road. But we're proud of how it's turning out sonically. And if you've heard any of the clips that Caleb has posted on the Nerd Halen Twitter, I think we're pulling it off. I'm proud of where we're going, and it'll just get better because we're going to add more gags and more stuff like that. Jesus Christ, Jay, you're putting on lip balm. He's yawning. We're going to cut back.
Oh, yes.
He's going to be flossing.
So happy you said something, Hal. God,
he doesn't miss a trick. He doesn't miss a trick.
He's just like a cut back. He's doing sit-ups in the background. And like,
I'm going to work on next time is playing the intro to Mean Street while putting on chapstick.
Yeah, on a Pelletron.
He's just warming up for what he has to do next.
Right. It's terrible. It was, in all honesty, all jokes aside, it was great meeting you guys and talking to you guys, and Caleb is right about you guys, and I appreciate your fandom and your love for all things Eddie. It is impressive, and it's worth noting. I think, because I believe in having heroes. I really do. I think most people are afraid to admit that they like somebody or care about something. As a Kiss fan, especially growing up, you're always thrown crap for that reason. And so for me, I'm like, I like who I like, and I don't give a goddamn if anybody doesn't like it. I don't listen to music with your ears ever. So everything I like is, and if I don't like something somebody likes, it's because it doesn't suit me, not because it's unsuitable. And so, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I always say about this show and these guys and the people in the chat who I've met and who are friends of mine on Facebook now and all that, is that I dreamed about this kind of interaction when I was in high school, and I was the only one in my high school that liked Van Halen.
I was dreaming about a different kind of interaction, but
you know what I
mean.
I wished I could have found these people a long time ago.
Aaron Gray from Buck Rogers. I'm just saying.
There you go.
And
there's a reference. But yeah, no, I mean, that's the best part of this whole thing is that we get to talk about what.
Yeah. And thank you, Shauna and Mitch and Pooh Ninja and John Bulware and Amanda Combs and Ben, who are in here tonight, but separate, but equal. I appreciate that you guys are, I know you're in a relationship, but
brother and sister.
Okay. But you stay away from each other. Forget why. You may hate each other, but you can at least join in the chat, is my point. And Nightbot, you've been great.
Yes.
I really appreciate you, and I love all the things you said about me.
Kudos to Nightbot.
Yeah, Nightbot, you're the unsung hero of the chat room. Really, I don't think you get enough. I don't want you to go to sleep tonight thinking you weren't cared for.
All right, take us out, John.
Thank you guys.
Oh my god.
Cheers.
Oh.
Bye. Do we just how do you hang up on these kind of things? Do you just like there a bomb button? What happens?
No, you stick around. Stick around. We got to do post game here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All
Bye,
right, everybody.
Cheers.
Everybody, thanks for watching, everybody. Subscribe to the channel. Leave the thumbs downs.
Yeah.
And there'll be links to Nerd Halen and Hal Sparks and Caleb. All their stuff will be right there. Jay, awesome shirt, man.
Yeah, leave one thumb up a butt for Mancuda because that's
That's so it's his own thumb, but still he deserves credit.
brown thumb. Leave a brown thumb
Right.
for
Just
Mancuda.
tell him to trim his nails next time. Then because there's a chance of
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
We will have both of them on someday.
yes.
That's
I love you, John.
That's
I'm for
gonna
it.
be
I love
that's gonna
John.
be an explosion right there.
Yeah,
That's gonna be
no.
awesome.
We'll go head to head, and he knows how I mean that.
Head on.
All right, David Nesdahl.
As always.
Awesome.
What's that, Jay?
Oh man. Okay. Caleb, I love you, Caleb.
I love you,
You're
John.
awesome, man.
You're the
Peace.
best.
Man,
Thank you.
Hal Sparks, you rock, man.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Very
guys.
very funny dude.
I appreciate that. And all jokes were said in ultimate jest. In all honesty, I'm messing around, but if anybody gets their titty in a twister about it, like just understand where I'm coming from, and it's all in fun.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
That's why we do this.
I don't
Yeah.
take any offense to anything. It's all.
I meant
it's all-
John because I know you're okay, David. I meant John. I'm worried that since he was sequestered and out of the show that somehow
right now.
it's that his own syphilitic issues with sentence structure and whatnot.
Well, the thing is with John on the show and you, none of us would be able to talk except you and John.
Right. Yeah, it's its own show. Right. Gotcha. Okay. Good to
It
know.
might be the greatest show ever. So we might have to do it.
Probably. So we'd have to do that next time. Just
We'll make it happen. We'll do that as soon as we have gigs to announce. So we'll draw eyeballs. That'll work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, are we still live?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we are. We're still
I
live.
don't know. I'm
Oh.
dead. I don't know about you.
Okay. All right, everybody.
Thank you, Shauna.
We love all of you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Kisses to everybody.
That's filth.
What is this? The dating game?
Yeah.
All
right.
right. We'll see you guys later.
I don't know why she didn't pick me.